My beloved child, stop right where you are and listen to me, because what I am about to speak carries the weight of heaven and the urgency your soul has been aching for. Stop right there. I have something you need to hear. It's not just a title. It is my call to you, a summons to pause the noise, silence the doubts, and lean in with every part of your being. You have been moving so quickly, surviving so fiercely, that you've missed the whispers meant to guide your next steps. But not now. Not this moment. Right here, I am arresting your attention because what comes next has the power to shift your life. Listen to me. Yes, you right now, in this very moment. Stop where you are. Do not rush past these words. Do not sink back into the noise around you, because this is not random, and you are not here by accident. You think you simply stumbled onto this message, that it is just another set of words among millions. But I tell you, I have drawn you to this exact moment because I have something to say to you that your soul has been starving for. You have been moving so quickly, filling your days with tasks, distractions, responsibilities, scrolling, working, worrying, pushing yourself to keep going, and you have not noticed how loud everything has become inside you. You rarely pause long enough to feel what you are really feeling, let alone to hear me. Yet even when you did not make room for me, I have been making room for you. I have been following every step you take, watching over you, listening to every unspoken thought. I see you when the room is dark and your mind refuses to rest. I see you when you wonder if anyone truly understands what is happening inside you. And so, in this very moment, I am placing my hand gently yet firmly upon your life and saying, stop. Not because I am angry with you, not because I want to scold you or shame you, but because I love you too much to let you keep walking past the one thing your heart truly needs, me. You have been trying to be strong for everyone, haven't you? You tell yourself you'll be fine, that you can handle it, that you just need to push a little harder, wait a little longer, pretend a little better. But inside, the weight keeps growing. You feel tired in ways that sleep cannot fix. You feel heavy in places no one else can see. You carry questions you refuse to voice, because you fear what the answers might reveal about your future, your worth, your failures, your fears. You keep waiting for some external change to magically soothe the storm inside you. But nothing has truly settled it. That is why I am interrupting you. I am stepping into your path, not as a wall to block you, but as a father who stands before his child and says, look at me. Listen to me. Let me speak into this. This is not punishment. This is rescue. This is not coincidence. This is intention. I have heard the sighs you thought were too small to matter. I have watched the moments when you held back tears so no one would be concerned. I have seen the day you laughed on the outside and crumbled on the inside. I have collected every piece of you that you felt was scattered. And now I am calling you to stillness so I can put them back together. Right now, I want you to let these words slow you down. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breathing soften. Let your defenses fall, just for a moment. You do not have to perform for me. You do not have to impress me. You do not have to hide from me. I already know what you are carrying, and I am not backing away. I'm drawing near. So, stop right there, beloved, right here in the middle of the mess, the questions, the confusion, the routine, and listen, because I am about to lead you into a healing, a clarity, and a closeness with me that you did not even realize you were longing for. Listen closely now, because what I'm about to tell you reaches deeper than you realize. I have watched every step you've taken, even the ones you wish I hadn't seen. You move through your days thinking you navigate unseen, unnoticed, unaccompanied. Yet my eyes have followed you with a tenderness you rarely imagine. You tell yourself you are alone. You convince yourself that no one truly understands the road you walk or the choices you've made. You replay moments in your mind, moments you're proud of, moments you regret, moments you try to forget, and you assume they flowed away into nothingness. But not a single step has escaped my awareness. Not one. When you walked into situations you shouldn't have, I was there not to condemn you but to protect you from what you didn't even understand. When you took steps born out of fear instead of faith, I remained with you, tracking every movement of your heart. When you moved forward in pain, pretending you were strong, my gaze never left you. You tell yourself sometimes that you are wandering, drifting, lost in a maze of decisions and pressures. But hear me, even in the places that feel like wandering to you, there is purpose I am weaving. Even in the detours, I have kept my eye on you, guiding you in ways you didn't recognize. And when you thought you were walking through darkness, abandoned, unnoticed, I was the one keeping the shadows from swallowing you whole. You don't realize how many times I redirected your path without you knowing it. How many dangers I turned aside. How many heartbreaks I shielded you from. How many wrong doors I closed because they would have destroyed you. You say, I don't hear you, but I have been speaking through every shift in your path. You say, I don't feel you, but I have been moving beside you with a closeness deeper than feeling. You say, I'm walking blind, but I have been lighting your steps one at a time, even when you could not see the source of that light. And now, as you stand here with questions about what comes next, I want you to understand that you have never walked a single mile alone. I have watched you. I have held you. I have guided you in ways you didn't recognize. And I will continue guiding you, even now, especially now, as I lead you into the next part of this conversation that your soul has been waiting for. Hear me clearly, because this truth has been pressing against the walls of your soul. You have been running on empty for far longer than you admit. You keep telling yourself you're fine, that you're strong, that you'll push through, but I see the exhaustion that lives behind your eyes. I see the heaviness you carry in your chest, the weight you ignore because you don't know how to put it down. You've been giving so much of yourself, to people, to responsibilities, to expectations, that there's barely anything left for you. You wake up tired. You go to sleep tired. You walk through the day holding pieces of yourself together while silently hoping no one notices you're unraveling. You have tried to refill yourself with distractions, with noise, with busyness, with moments that numb you temporarily. But the peace doesn't last, does it? The relief fades. The emptiness returns. There is a part of you that has been running so hard for so long that you've forgotten what real rest feels like. Not sleep. Not escape. Not a few moments of relief. I'm talking about the deep rest your soul was created for, the kind that resets you from the inside out. And you've been starving for it. I know why you keep going even when you're drained. You think if you stop, everything will collapse. You think if you slow down, you'll fall apart. You think if you let go of control, something terrible will happen. But hear me, the collapse isn't coming from slowing down. It's coming from carrying what you were never designed to carry alone. You're running on fumes because you spent yourself without returning to the source. The well that never runs dry. That well is me. And I am not telling you this to shame you. I'm telling you because I want to fill what life has drained. I want to pour strength back into the places where you feel weak. I want to breathe life back into the parts of you that feel numb. You think emptiness is your new normal, but it is not. You were created to live full of purpose, full of peace, full of strength that doesn't run out. That is why I am confronting this truth with you. You've been running on empty. But I am here, and I am ready to fill you again, more deeply than you have ever known. Let me draw you close, because what I am about to say reaches into the secret places of your heart. I know the questions you don't speak, the ones you hide beneath your calm exterior, the ones you bury because you're afraid of the answers. You carry questions that echo in the quiet moments when no one is around. Questions about your purpose, questions about your worth, questions about the choices you've made, questions about whether things will ever truly get better, questions about why certain wounds still ache after all this time. You silence them because you don't want to seem weak or dramatic or needy. You silence them because you fear that if you speak them aloud, they will confirm the worries that linger in the back of your mind. You silence them because you've learned to keep your deepest struggles hidden, out of view, out of conversation, out of reach. But even in your silence, those questions speak loudly to me. I hear the uncertainty behind your forced confidence. I hear the longing behind your polite prayers. I hear the fear behind your quiet nights. You think those thoughts are yours alone, but I have been listening to them long before you formed them into words. You wonder if I care as deeply as you hope. You wonder if I see you as clearly as you need. You wonder if your future holds anything meaningful, or if you're simply drifting through days with no real direction. You question whether you failed too much, strayed too far, broken too many things to be fully restored. And though you try to put on a brave face, I see the tremble beneath it. But hear me now. I am not intimidated by your unspoken questions. I am not distant from your confusion. I am not offended by your uncertainty. I welcome your questions, because they draw you into the honesty where transformation begins. You do not have to hide your doubts from me. You do not have to pretend you have everything figured out. Bring your questions to me, even the messy ones, the painful ones, the ones that make you feel vulnerable. I know them already, and still I love you. Still I stay with you. Still I guide you. Still I whisper truth even when your fears scream louder. You do not have to fear your questions, because I am not afraid of them. I am here, ready to lead you into answers that don't just silence your doubts, but heal the places they come from. And this honest place, is where our conversation deepens as we continue forward together. Hear me with the full weight of these words. You have reached a point in your life where you don't just want me, you need me. And I say that not to shame you, but to free you from pretending you can keep carrying everything on your own. You've tried to push through with willpower, with discipline, with strength you thought you could force out of yourself. You've tried to hold yourself together with determination, with distraction, with sheer effort. But deep down, you know you're standing at a threshold where something must change. You've come to the place where human strength meets its limit, where exhaustion speaks louder than motivation, where your soul whispers truths your mind has been trying to deny. And I am not surprised. I am not disappointed. I am not watching you reach this point with frustration or anger. I have been waiting for it, not because I want you broken, but because I want you surrendered in a way that finally allows me to pour into you what life has drained from you. You've been trying to be the hero in your own story, trying to rescue yourself, carry yourself, sustain yourself. But you were never designed to be the source, only the vessel. You've been fighting battles that require a strength beyond your own, and that is why you feel stuck, drained, unsure of what to do next. The truth is, you can only get so far on your own before the cracks begin to show. And when they do, your first instinct is to hide them, to patch them up, to pretend you're still strong. But I am not asking you to hide your breaking point. I am asking you to hand it to me. When you reach the end of yourself, you did not reach the end of hope. You reached the beginning of me. This moment is not failure. It is alignment. It is clarity. It is the holy realization that you can no longer live on self-reliance and still expect deep peace. You need me to step into the places you cannot fix. You need me to carry the battles you cannot win. You need me to strengthen the parts of you that life has worn down. And I am here, not with judgment, but with open arms, ready to lift what hath been crushing you. You've reached a point where you need me, and that is the safest, strongest place you can stand, because now, finally, I can take you where you were meant to go next. Let me tell you something you haven't wanted to admit aloud. Your heart has been whispering for help long before your mind allowed you to acknowledge it. Even while you tried to act strong, while you hid your stress behind busyness, while you forced a smile to keep others from worrying, your heart has been quietly crying out for something more. You felt it in the still moments, those strange rushes of emotion you didn't know how to explain, the sudden heaviness that settled on you at random times, the quiet ache you felt in the middle of a normal day. You brushed it off, telling yourself you were just tired, just overwhelmed, just dealing with life. But I heard those whispers. Every single one. You whispered for rest even when your schedule didn't allow it. You whispered for clarity even when you pretended everything was fine. You whispered for comfort even when you told others you were doing good. You whispered for strength even when you kept trying to face everything alone. And I never ignored you. Your heart has been speaking to me in ways you didn't recognize. Through your restlessness, through your tears, through your frustration, through your longing for something deeper. Sometimes the whispers sounded like questions, sometimes like fears, sometimes like hope so fragile you didn't dare speak them. But I heard them as clearly as if you had shouted them. You see, I don't wait for perfectly worded prayers. I don't wait for you to explain yourself. I don't need eloquence or formality. I respond to honesty, even the kind you don't say out loud. Your heart has been whispering, and I have been leaning in, listening with compassion, holding you in moments you thought you were completely alone. The reason you feel drawn into this moment with me now is because I am answering those whispers. I am bringing into the open what your soul hath been trying to express. So do not be ashamed of your quiet cries for help. They are the very things that led you to this divine conversation. And as we continue, I want you to understand this. Your heart's whispers are safe with me, and I am here to respond to them more deeply than you ever imagined. Listen carefully now, because what I am saying shifts everything. This moment is not a warning. It is an invitation. You may feel like I'm stopping you at the edge of something heavy, something overwhelming, something uncertain, but I am not confronting you to frighten you. I'm drawing you closer because I want to show you what you've been missing while you've been trying to survive on your own strength. This is not the voice of condemnation. This is not the voice of judgment. This is not the voice of disappointment. This is the voice of a God who refuses to let you drown silently in your own struggle. I am inviting you into freedom, into healing, into a deeper intimacy with me than you have ever experienced. You've mistaken my interruption for disapproval, but it is actually compassion. Pure, fierce, relentless compassion. You see, a warning says, stay away. An invitation says, come closer. And that is what I am saying to you now. Come closer to me. Come closer with your pain. Come closer with your confusion. Come closer with your questions. Come closer with your weariness. Come closer with the pieces of your heart you've been too afraid to show anyone else. You do not need to clean yourself up before stepping toward me. You do not need to fix yourself first. You do not need to pretend you're stronger than you really are. I want you exactly as you are in this moment, messy, tired, hopeful, fearful, uncertain, longing. I am inviting you not to perform, but to rest. Not to hide, but to reveal. Not to pretend, but to heal. You have been standing on the outside of the peace I've wanted to give you, but now I'm opening the door wider than ever, calling you into a place where my presence becomes your strength. This is not a warning. This is me saying, let me love you back to life. And as our conversation continues, you will see just how deep this invitation truly goes. Listen to me now, because what I'm revealing to you in this moment is not subtle or symbolic. You are standing at a threshold, a point of holy transition, a line between what has been and what will soon unfold. You may not feel it, but you are standing in a spiritual doorway where the old version of you cannot continue forward, and the new version of you is waiting to emerge. You sense it in the tension you feel. You sense it in the discomfort that has been rising inside you. You sense it in the way your old patterns no longer satisfy you, and your old ways of coping no longer work. What once seemed manageable now feels unbearable. What once felt normal now feels too small. And this is not because you are failing. It is because you are outgrowing what once fit you. I am shifting you, stretching you, preparing you. Thresholds always feel uncomfortable. They always come with uncertainty. But hear me now. I would not bring you to the edge of transformation if I had not already prepared the ground on the other side. You think you are stuck, but you are actually on the verge of crossing into a deeper clarity, a renewed strength, and a more grounded identity. You are standing at the place where your fear tries to pull you back, but my presence is pulling you forward. You've been sensing something changing in your spirit, something awakening, something stirring, something quietly telling you that your life cannot remain as it is. That is me. I am urging you to step away from the patterns that chain you, the voices that lie to you, the doubts that shrink you. I am calling you to step forward into the version of your life that aligns with who I've created you to be. But thresholds require trust. They require you to release the illusion of control and walk by faith, not sight. They require you to look at me instead of looking at your fears. So as you stand here, right at the edge of change, listen to the truth I am speaking into your spirit. You are not at the end. You are at the beginning. You are not about to collapse. You are about to cross over. The threshold you feel is not a barrier. It's a doorway I am opening for you. And I am standing right here with you, ready to walk you into what comes next. Step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment. Let me speak directly into the heaviness inside you. I want to lift the weight you've been carrying, the one you've told yourself you must keep holding because no one else will understand or help. You've gotten so used to functioning under pressure that you've forgotten what freedom feels like. You've gotten so accustomed to being the strong one, the responsible one, the one who pushes through, that you don't even realize how much you're holding until something small pushes you over the edge. You've been carrying burdens that were never meant to rest on your shoulders. Emotional burdens, mental burdens, spiritual burdens, responsibilities that drain you, expectations that overwhelm you, memories that haunt you, fears that cling to you. You try to hold them all at once, hoping that if you can just do everything right, everything will finally fall into place. But instead of peace, you feel pressure. Instead of rest, you feel exhaustion. Instead of clarity, you feel confusion. And still, you grip the weight tighter, thinking it's safer to keep carrying it than to let it fall. But hear me now, your strength is not found in how much you can hold. It is found in how much you are willing to release. I am not asking you to pretend the weight isn't there. I am asking you to let me carry it with you and for you. You think surrender means failure, but surrender is where I step in with the fullness of my power. You think letting go means losing control, but letting go is where you find the peace your soul has craved. You think releasing the weight means everything will fall apart, but it is holding the weight that has been breaking you from the inside out. I want to lift the weight, not because you are weak, but because you are mine. Not because you cannot handle life, but because life was never meant to be handled alone. You have a Father who wants to carry the heaviness that has been crushing you. You have a God who bends down with compassion, who reaches into your deepest exhaustion, and who says, "Give it to me. Let me lift it. Let me relieve you. Let me breathe strength where your strength has run out. Let me exchange your heaviness for my peace." And as you continue with me, you will see what you could not carry another day, I can carry with ease. Hear this with a clarity that shakes the lies loose from your spirit. Your past has spoken long enough, and I am silencing its voice in your life. For too long, you've allowed old memories to dictate your identity. You've allowed old wounds to shape your confidence. You've allowed past mistakes to whisper shame into your present. You've allowed past heartbreaks to teach you to expect disappointment. You've allowed the failures of yesterday to define what you believe is possible for tomorrow. You carry echoes of moments that should never have held such power over you, but they have, because the past has a way of speaking loudly when pain has gone unhealed. You replay moments in your mind, not because you want to, but because you don't know how to stop. You've internalized words spoken to you that should never have been said. You held on to guilt that I forgave long ago. You've believed lies that grew roots in your heart when you weren't strong enough to resist them. But hear me now. Your past is not your judge. Your past is not your identity. Your past is not your destiny. I am the one who defines you, not the moments that broke you. I am the one who restores you, not the memories that haunt you. I am the one who leads you, not the shadows behind you. The past may have shaped you, but it does not own you. It does not limit you. It does not disqualify you. It does not dictate what I can do in your future. You think the past has the final word, but it doesn't. Not when my voice speaks over your life with authority. I am breaking the grip of old shame. I am silencing the lies that tell you you're not enough. I am healing the wounds that have stayed open far too long. I am rewriting the narrative that pain tried to write. You no longer have to be loyal to the version of yourself that survived by hiding. You no longer have to live under the weight of who you used to be. I am calling you forward, not as a prisoner of your history, but as a carrier of my redemption. Your past has spoken long enough. Now let my voice be the one that leads you into the life that has been waiting for you. Listen to me with the deepest part of your being, because what I am about to tell you will challenge the way you've been carrying your life. You have been fighting battles that were never assigned to you, battles that drain you, battles that belong in my hands, not yours. You've taken on conflicts that were meant to be surrendered. You've tried to fix situations that only I can heal. You've tried to carry people who were never meant to be lifted by your strength alone. You've stepped into wars you thought you were responsible for, but they have only left you bruised, anxious, and overwhelmed. You've been stretching yourself thin trying to rescue, manage, control, predict, repair, and hold together things that you were never designed to handle. You feel responsible for the happiness of others. You feel responsible for outcomes. You feel responsible for peace in places where no peace exists. You've been walking into emotional storms thinking you can calm them with your effort, but you cannot calm what was never yours to command. You've been trying to earn safety by overthinking. You've been trying to earn acceptance by overgiving. You've been trying to earn stability by exhausting yourself. None of these battles belong to you. And yet, you've been fighting them as if your worth depends on winning. I have watched you step into roles you were never meant to fill: peacemaker, savior, fixer, shield, provider of everyone's comfort. You've been holding up walls that only I can support. You've been standing guard over futures you cannot control. You've been pouring yourself into people who don't even know the weight they place on you. And instead of peace, you have found only tension. Instead of resolution, only frustration. Instead of clarity, only confusion. You've mistaken responsibility for burden, love for self-erasure, compassion for self-neglect. But hear me now. The battles that belong to me will never bow to your strength. They respond only to my authority. This is why you felt stuck. This is why your efforts have seemed ineffective. This is why you've been exhausted. You haven't been failing. You've simply been fighting in the wrong arena. I am not asking you to abandon the people you love. I am asking you to place them in my hands instead of your own. I am not asking you to stop caring. I am asking you to surrender the part of caring that has turned into caring. You do not need to be the hero. You do not need to be the solution. You do not need to be the anchor for the entire world. I am the one who holds all things together. Let me fight what you cannot. Release these battles. They are mine. And when you let me take them, you will finally feel the peace you've been searching for. Let me reveal a truth you've been too busy, too numb, or too pressured to notice. Your heart is more worn than you realize, and the fatigue you feel is deeper than the body. It's the exhaustion of the soul. You've been functioning on depleted emotional reserves for far longer than you admit. You keep pushing forward, telling yourself you're fine, telling yourself other people have it worse, telling yourself you don't have time to fall apart. But your heart has been quietly fraying at the edges. You've been absorbing stress like a sponge, holding in frustrations, swallowing disappointments, carrying unspoken fears, and forcing yourself to endure more than your spirit was ever meant to handle alone. You've been walking around with invisible bruises, tender places created by years of being strong when you really needed gentleness, of pretending when you really needed comfort, of giving when you desperately needed someone to pour back into you. You've brushed off emotional wounds that needed tending. You've overlooked the weight of small hurts that piled up over time. You've minimized your own pain because you didn't want to seem dramatic or needy. But your heart knows the truth. Your heart has been trying to signal that something is off. You felt the sudden heaviness in your chest. You felt the random waves of sadness you couldn't explain. You felt the mental fog, the irritability, the tension, the emptiness. These aren't signs of weakness. They are signs of wear. And the reason they feel so heavy is because you have not been receiving the restoration your spirit needs. You've been pouring out without being filled. You've been carrying emotions you never process. You've been trying to outrun feelings that only heal when faced. You've been neglecting the tender parts of yourself that require my presence, my touch, my renewal. But hear me. I am not here to scold you. I am here to restore you. I am here to breathe life back into the weary places. I am here to lay my hand gently over the wounds you've hidden from everyone, even from yourself. I see the weariness you disguised behind strength. I see the hurt beneath the humor. I see the longing underneath your silence. And I am stepping into that hidden place to say, let me heal what you've been holding together with sheer willpower. You don't have to keep pretending you're fine. You don't have to outrun the ache. You don't have to carry the emotional weight alone. I know how worn your heart is. I also know how to restore it fully. And that restoration begins right here, right now, as you let me speak life into places you have long neglected. Hear me with the authority of love. I am interrupting your fear, halting its momentum, breaking its influence, and stepping between you and the lies it keeps whispering. Fear has been speaking loudly in your mind, louder than hope, louder than peace, longer than truth. It has told you that you're not enough, that you're running out of time, that you're going to lose everything, that you can't handle what's coming, that things will never get better. Fear hath been shaping your decisions, shrinking your dreams, clouding your vision, and tightening its grip on your heart. It has made you overthink every choice, second-guess every feeling, catastrophize every possibility. Fear has convinced you that you must always be on guard, always prepared for disappointment, always braced for impact. But hear me. Fear has had the microphone in your life for too long, and I am silencing it. I am stepping into the inner room of your mind and commanding fear to be still. I am interrupting its narrative with truth. I am interrupting its lies with clarity. I am interrupting its hold with my peace. You may not even realize how deeply fear has influenced your behavior, how it has kept you from asking for help, from trusting people, from trying new things, from resting, from hoping for more, from believing that good can truly come your way. Fear has taught you to expect the worst, to downplay your worth, to prepare for loss instead of expecting blessing. But I did not create you to live enslaved to a voice that diminishes your identity. Fear is not your protector, it is your captor. It doesn't keep you safe, it keeps you small. And I am here to break its hold. I interrupt fear not only with my words, but with my presence. When I draw near, fear loses its power. When I speak, fear loses its authority. When I move, fear loses its foothold. You've been so used to fear that you sometimes mistake it for wisdom, but fear is not wisdom. Fear is distortion. Wisdom aligns with truth. Fear aligns with lies. And right now, I am breathing truth into the atmosphere of your soul. You are not alone. You are not unprotected. You are not powerless. You are not hopeless. You are mine. And fear cannot rule what belongs to me. So let this be the moment where the cycle breaks, where the grip loosens, where the shadows retreat. I am interrupting your fear, not temporarily, but decisively, because you cannot step into the life I'm leading you toward while fear holds the reins. Let my interruption become your liberation as we continue this journey together. Listen closely, because this is a truth you need to feel in the deepest chambers of your soul. I am calling you out of survival mode, out of the constant state of bracing yourself, out of the habit of merely getting through each day instead of truly living it. You have spent so long functioning in emergency mode that you no longer recognize how tense your spirit has become. You wake up already preparing for pressure. You move through the day with your shoulders slightly raised, your mind always running, your heart always guarded. You've been living as though the next problem is always around the corner, and so you've forgotten what it feels like to breathe, to rest, to trust, to hope, to just be. Survival mode has taught you to anticipate disappointment before joy, exhaustion before relief, struggle before peace. It has made you believe that life is something to endure, not something to lean into with confidence. And while you've convinced yourself this is normal, even necessary, your soul has been quietly suffocating beneath the weight of constant vigilance. But hear me now. I did not create you to live in a perpetual state of survival. You were not designed to run on adrenaline and fear. You were not crafted to build a life around crisis management. You were made for peace, for abundance, for rest, for purpose, for fullness, not the bare minimum of emotional existence. I see how you've adapted to difficult seasons, how you taught yourself to push through, how you learned to carry burdens without collapsing. I see the resilience, the strength, the endurance you've gained from the battles you faced. But surviving is not the same as living, and I want more for you than coping mechanisms and emotional armor. I want to bring you into a life where joy is not a rare visitor, but a familiar friend. I want to lead you into a season where your heart is no longer in hiding, where your spirit is no longer clenched tight, where your mind is no longer predicting every possible disaster. Survival mode has kept you alive, but it has also kept you small. It has kept you guarded. It has kept you in a constant state of holding your breath. And now, I am calling you out of that place. Not with pressure, not with force, but with gentle, persistent invitation. I am teaching you to unclench your heart. I am teaching you to rest again. I am teaching you to trust me with the pieces of your life you've been protecting out of fear. You don't have to function in emergency mode anymore. You are safe with me. You can exhale now. As you continue with me in this unfolding conversation, you will learn what life feels like beyond survival, where healing begins, where peace grows, where you discover how to live instead of merely endure. Hear me with a tenderness that reaches beneath every harsh word you've spoken to yourself. You have forgotten your worth. And I don't say that as a rebuke. I say it as one who has watched you slowly lose sight of your own value under the weight of disappointment, comparison, and the quiet erosion of your confidence. You've measured yourself by your mistakes, by your failures, by the moments you wish you could take back. You've compared yourself to others who seem further ahead, stronger, happier, more put together. You've believed the voices that told you that you weren't enough, that you needed to be more, do more, achieve more in order to matter. You've allowed people who didn't understand you to shape your self-image. You've allowed circumstances that hurt you to convince you that something is wrong with you. Little by little, you began shrinking who you believed yourself to be. Little by little, you stopped expecting anything good from yourself. Little by little, you began to approach life apologetically, as though your very existence had to be justified. But hear me now, clearly and without hesitation. Your worth is not something you earn. It's something you carried because I placed it within you. Your worth was not diminished by the wounds you endured. Your worth was not weakened by the seasons that broke you. Your worth was not lost when people left, when dreams collapsed, when life became harder than you expected. Your worth has remained intact even when your confidence did not. You have forgotten your worth because you've been listening to voices that never had the authority to define you. You've let the mirror of the world reflect a distorted image back to you. But I am holding up a different mirror now, one that shows you the truth. You are precious. You are chosen. You are deeply loved. You are crafted with intention. You are valuable beyond measure. I want you to see yourself the way I see you. Not through the lens of your flaws, not through the lens of your past, not through the lens of other people's opinions, but through the lens of my love. A love that does not waver, does not diminish, does not disappear when you struggle. You matter to me in ways you cannot comprehend. I want to restore your sense of worth, not as a surface feeling, but as a truth anchored deep within your identity. You are not an accident. You are not a burden. You are not lacking. You are mine. And as you continue forward with me, I will show you the beauty, the strength, and the dignity that has been yours all along. Let me speak directly into the place you rarely allow anyone to touch. I see the loneliness you hide, the quiet ache you've tried to explain away, the emptiness that lingers even when you're surrounded by people. You've learned how to function in connection without truly feeling connected. You've learned how to laugh while your heart sits in silence. You've learned how to be the reliable one, the dependable one, the strong one, while inside you've battled a sense of isolation you can't quite put into words. You move through crowded rooms feeling unseen. You talk to people without feeling understood. You share pieces of your life, but rarely the ones that hurt. There is a part of you that longs to be known deeply, to be loved without needing to perform, to be understood without needing to explain yourself. to be seen without having to hide. But somewhere along the way, you stopped believing that kind of closeness was possible for you. You've told yourself you're fine. You've told yourself you don't need anyone. You've told yourself your loneliness is just part of life. But I know better. I see beyond the mask, beyond the smile, beyond the composed front you present to the world. I see the nights when the silence feels heavier than usual. I see the moments when you wish someone would notice the shift in your voice. I see the longing in your heart for companionship, understanding, connection, belonging. Loneliness has become a familiar shadow, but it is not your identity. It is not your destiny. It is not the truth about your life. Hear me. You have never been as alone as you felt. I have walked with you through every silent moment. I have been beside you when tears came without explanation. I have held your heart through the seasons when you felt invisible. And I am breaking the lie that tells you that you are destined to walk through life unheld, unseen, untouched by deep connection. I am restoring what loneliness attempted to steal from you, your capacity to be loved, your belief in genuine connection, your hope for companionship and belonging. You were not created for isolation. And as we continue this journey together, I will show you not only that I am with you, but that I am preparing relationships, moments, and connections that will heal the ache you've carried in silence. Listen to me with a heart open enough to receive what you've denied yourself for far too long. You have not failed me. I know you replay moments you regret, conversations you wish you could rewrite, choices you wish you could undo. I know you look at certain seasons of your life and feel like you disappointed me, as if I had expectations you couldn't live up to. You carry shame that whispers you've fallen short, guilt that tells you I'm displeased, fear that says I've pulled away from you. But I want you to hear this with a gentleness that shakes you out of those lies. You haven't failed me. You haven't ruined my plans. You haven't lost my love. You haven't pushed me away with your imperfections. You look at your weaknesses and see disqualification. I look at your weaknesses and see the exact places my strength wants to rest. You look at your mistakes and see reasons to give up. I look at them and see reasons for mercy, growth, redemption, and rebuilding. Do you not understand how deeply I know you? I knew your struggles before you faced them. I knew your flaws before they were ever exposed. I knew your tendencies, your wounds, your vulnerabilities. I knew every failure you would walk through, and I still chose you. I still love you. I still called you. Not because you are flawless, but because my love is not built on your perfection. It is rooted in my character and anchored in my purpose for you. You fear that your inconsistencies change how I see you, but my view of you has never shifted. You think your failures make you unworthy, but worthiness was never something you earn. It was something I gave. You fear I've distanced myself because of your struggles, but I draw closer to the broken, not away from them. I want you to release the idea that you need to earn my approval, because I approved of you long before your first breath. I want you to let go of the belief that you must impress me. I am not impressed by performance. I'm moved by honesty. I want you to understand that your journey, messy, complicated, imperfect, is still held within my hands. You see failures, I see lessons. You see setbacks, I see shaping. You see moments of weakness. I see opportunities for me to reveal my strength in you. You haven't failed me. You've simply been human. And I love you in the fullness of that humanity. So walk with me now, not in shame, but in confidence, knowing that not a single misstep has ever changed my love toward you. Hear me speak this truth into the anxiety that keeps tightening around your heart. You are not behind. I know you look around and compare your journey to the people around you, You see others achieving things you thought you'd have by now, reaching milestones you long for, walking paths that feel smoother, faster, or more blessed than yours. You've convinced yourself that you missed something, missed a season, missed an opportunity, missed a moment where your life was supposed to shift. You've looked at your age, your progress, your circumstances, and whispered, "I should be further than this." But I tell you now with authority and tenderness, you are exactly where I need you to be at this moment in time. You are not late. You are not lacking. You are not delayed. Not in my timing. Not in my plan. What you call delay, I call preparation. What you call detour, I call protection. What you call stagnation, I call foundation building. There were things you needed to learn, things you needed to release, things you needed to outgrow, things you needed to heal from before stepping into what comes next. You see a timeline. I see a transformation. You see time slipping away. I see a story unfolding exactly as it should. Every moment you thought was wasted has been shaping you. Every season you thought was behind schedule was actually aligning you with the future I designed specifically for you. You are not lagging. You are being positioned. You are not trailing. You are being crafted. You are not disqualified. You are being refined. I know how deeply you long for progress, for breakthrough, for clarity. And I am not denying you those things. I am preparing you for them. You are growing in ways you don't even recognize yet. You are healing in places you don't see. You are becoming the version of yourself that will be able to carry what you've been praying for. If I had given you everything earlier, it would not have settled properly in your life. But now I am leading you into a season where you will see that nothing was random, nothing was wasted, nothing was lost. You are not behind. You are right on time. And as you continue walking with me, you will see doors open, opportunities align, and moments unfold in a way that feels almost supernatural, because everything will arrive at the exact moment you are ready for it. Let this truth settle into you like a steadying hand on your trembling heart. You are exactly where I need you right now. You've questioned your surroundings. You've questioned your season. You've questioned your progress. You've questioned whether you misheard me or wandered off the right path. You've wondered if you're stuck, if you've taken too many wrong turns, if you've derailed my plan for you. But hear me with absolute clarity. Your location, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, is not an accident. It is a part of the process. It is a part of your story. It is a part of the shaping I'm doing deep within you. You think you should be elsewhere, but if you were anywhere else, you wouldn't become who you're meant to become. There are things you're learning here, things you couldn't learn anywhere else. There are strengths growing in you, strengths that can only grow under the pressure of this particular season. There is wisdom forming in you. Wisdom that only comes from the experiences you're walking through right now. You are exactly where you need to be because I am using this precise moment to refine you, align you, and position you. Nothing is wasted, not the delay, not the confusion, not the waiting, not the stretching, not the questions. All of it is clay in my hands shaping a greater version of you. You worry that you're missing something. You fear you're falling behind. You wonder if you've taken too many detours. But I see the bigger picture. I see how every step you've taken has brought you into alignment with the story I'm unfolding. You think you're off track, but you are on my track. You think you're lost, but you are held. You think you're wandering, but you are being led. I have not misplaced you. I have not abandoned you. I have not overlooked your timing or your future. You are exactly where I need you, because this moment, right here, right now, holds a purpose that will make sense later. Trust this place. Trust me in this place. Even if it feels unfamiliar, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels unclear, trust that I am working things in your favor. And soon, you will look back and say, I was right where I needed to be for everything God was preparing next. Listen to me with every part of you that feels worn, tired, or uncertain. Your story is not over. I know there are moments when you look at your life and wonder if this is all it will ever be. You've walked through seasons that drained you, seasons that broke you, seasons that made you question whether anything meaningful could come after the pain you've endured. You faced disappointments that settled too deeply. You felt the sting of setbacks that made you believe your best chapters were behind you. There were days when the weight of what you lost felt heavier than the hope of what could still come. But I tell you now, with a voice that cuts through despair, your story is not over, not even close. There are pages yet to be written, roads yet to be traveled, healing yet to unfold, blessings yet to rise, and purpose yet to bloom within you. You judge your future through the lens of the present, but I see your life from its entirety, from beginning to end, and what you're standing in now is not the end. It is simply a middle chapter. Just because this moment feels heavy does not mean it defines what is coming. You have walked through storms that tried to convince you that nothing could grow again. But I am the one who brings life out of barren ground. You have experienced heartbreak that whispered your future would always resemble your past. But I am the one who creates new beginnings where there seemed to be none. You have carried wounds that made you think joy was beyond your reach. But I am the one who restores joy until it overflows. You've seen things fall apart, but you have not yet seen what I can build from the fragments. Do not assume the darkness you've walked through is the final word on your life. I am still speaking. I am still moving. I am still unfolding things you cannot yet see. And if you could glimpse the future I am leading you toward, even for a moment, you would understand that nothing you've lost will define the rest of your story, only what I place into your hands next. The very places where you feel empty are the places I'm preparing to fill. The very chapters you thought were ruined are the chapters I'm about to redeem. You think you've reached a dead end, but you are standing at a doorway disguised as disappointment. You think the silence means conclusion, but it is simply the pause before resurrection. Your story is not over because I am not finished with you. And as you continue walking with me, you will see chapters unfold that remind you I am still writing, still shaping, still restoring. And your greatest moments are not behind you, but ahead. Let me step gently into the part of you that very few people have ever seen. You've been carrying silent shame, the kind that hides behind your accomplishments, behind your responsibilities, behind your carefully managed composure. Shame that doesn't shout, but whispers. Shame that doesn't break you publicly but eats away at you privately. Shame tied to memories you avoid, decisions you regret, moments you can't seem to let go of. I see the way you replay those moments in your mind when you're alone. I see how you try to bury them under productivity, humor, strength, or distraction. I see how you wear confidence on the outside, while shame quietly settles like a weight in the deepest parts of your heart. You've carried it because you didn't know what to do with it. You've carried it because you believe you deserve it. You've carried it because you believe that if others saw the full truth of your story, they would think less of you. But I know your whole story, and I am not ashamed of you. Shame tells you that you are defined by your lowest moments. Shame tells you that you are unworthy of love. Shame tells you that healing is not for you. Shame tells you that your mistakes are stronger than your identity. But hear me. Shame lies. He always lies. Shame thrives in secrecy, in silence, in hiding. It convinces you that what happened, or what you did, or what you didn't do makes you unworthy. But I do not look at you through the lens of shame. I look at you through the lens of compassion, grace, and complete understanding. I know what shaped your choices. I know what hurt you. I know what confused you. I know what scared you. I know what led you to moments you now carry like chains. And I also know what can free you. I am not afraid of your story. I am not repulsed by your pain. I am not shocked by your wounds. Shame says hide, I say come forward. Shame says you're unclean. I say you're mine. Shame says you've gone too far. I say nothing can separate you from my love. You've been carrying silent shame because you thought you had no right to release it. But now I am calling you to lay it down. You don't need to punish yourself anymore. You don't need to carry the weight of what I have already forgiven. You don't need to keep reliving moments I have already redeemed. Let me replace your shame with peace, with dignity, with restoration. Let me heal the parts of you shame has suffocated. As you walk further with me, you will feel that weight lifting, not all at once but steadily, gently, completely, because shame cannot survive in the presence of my love. Hear me with the tenderness reserved for your most fragile moments. Your tears are not wasted. Not the tears you cried silently in the middle of the night. Not the tears you wiped quickly so no one would notice. Not the tears that slipped out during moments you thought you were supposed to be strong. Not the tears of confusion, grief, frustration, loneliness, or heartbreak. Every tear you've shed has meaning to me. You've dismissed many of them, telling yourself they were weak, unnecessary, or childish. But I have collected each one. I have seen every moment where pain overwhelmed you. I have counted every tear that fell from your eyes, and not one of them hath been overlooked. You think tears disappear, but they do not. They water the ground of your future healing. Some of those tears came from wounds you never deserved. Some came from seasons that were heavier than you could express. Some came from losses you still don't know how to talk about. Some came from prayers that felt unanswered, from hopes that felt crushed, from disappointments that caught you off guard. And yet, every one of those tears carried a message, a longing, a part of your heart that reached out to me even when you didn't know how to articulate what you were feeling. I was with you in those moments, not distant, not silent, not indifferent, but holding you closer than you realized. When you cried, I did not turn away. When you broke, I did not withdraw. When you felt alone, I was nearer than your own breath. Your tears have been doing more than expressing pain. They have been cleansing, softening, preparing you. They have been loosening the grip of old wounds. They have been watering seeds of strength and resilience within you. Tears are not a sign of weakness. They are evidence that you still feel, still hope, still care, still long for something more. And I do not despise them. I honor them. I work through them. I respond to them. You have no idea how many breakthroughs, how many healings, how many shifts began with the tears you thought were meaningless. Nothing you've cried has been wasted. Not one moment of sorrow has slipped past my awareness. As you continue forward with me, you will see the fruit of every tear, the growth, the healing, the restoration, the new beginnings that rise out of the pain you've poured out. Your tears were prayers even when you didn't speak. Your tears were healing even when you didn't feel it. Your tears were seen, valued, and held. And I am turning them into joy in ways you will soon recognize, one tender redemption at a time. Hear me with the gravity your soul has been aching for. Your desperation has reached my throne. The cries you tried to swallow, the fears you tried to silence, the moments when you felt like you were barely holding on, none of them vanished into the air. Every trembling prayer, every whispered "God, please, Every unspoken thought that rose up from the depths of your pain has reached me with more clarity than you could ever imagine. You may have felt like heaven was silent, like your prayers were hitting walls, like nothing was shifting no matter how hard you cried out. But the truth is this: your desperation became a signal, a beacon, a direct line to my heart. I heard you in moments you were certain I wasn't listening. I saw you when you felt completely unseen. I felt your anguish in the places where you tried to be strong but were actually breaking. You've mistaken my timing for distance, but nothing could be further from the truth. I have been listening with an intensity that no human ear could ever match. I have been collecting your cries like treasures, holding them, examining them, responding to them in ways you couldn't yet perceive. You see delay, I see orchestration. You see silence, I see preparation. You see unanswered prayers, I see answers being formed in realms your eyes cannot yet access. Desperation is not weakness. It is the moment your heart stops pretending and speaks honestly. It is when every layer of performance falls away, leaving only truth. And I always respond to truth. Your desperation did not repel me. It drew me closer. It did not expose your weakness. It revealed your humanity, your longing, your need for me. And I honor that. I do not shame you for reaching the end of yourself. I do not criticize you for trembling beneath the weight of hope and fear. I do not turn away when your faith feels tired. I respond to authenticity, and your desperation was more authentic than you realize. It wasn't a sign of your failure. It was a sign that your spirit recognized its need for me, and that recognition became the very cry that reached my throne. I am not indifferent to your anguish. I am not unmoved by your desperation. I am not ignoring your pleas. I am working even now, quietly, intricately, purposefully, to turn the desperation of your heart into the breakthrough you've been longing for. And as we continue this journey, you will begin to see how every cry, every tear, every moment of vulnerability became the bridge that brought you closer to the answers I am preparing to unfold. Let me speak into the part of your life you've kept hidden even from the people who love you. I know the burden you can't explain to anyone. I know the weight you carry that words never seem to capture. The heaviness in your chest that you can't describe without feeling like you're unraveling. The pressure that sits on your shoulders even on days when nothing big happened. The constant mental battle you fight in silence, because you fear people wouldn't understand or wouldn't know what to do with your honesty. You've tried to explain it before, tried to put your pain into words, tried to articulate the complexity of what lives inside you, but every attempt felt too small, too shallow, too misunderstood. And so, you tucked it away. You carried it quietly. You learned to function around it. But I know it. Every bit of it. I know the tension behind your smile. I know the exhaustion beneath your resilience. I know the years of suppressed emotions, the unresolved memories, the disappointments you shrugged off, the responsibilities you never asked for, the fears you carry for others, the expectations you try to meet, the inner battles that rage beneath your calm exterior. I know the burden you keep pushing down because you don't want to inconvenience anyone, frustrate anyone, or appear too fragile. You've tried to lighten it yourself, to numb it, to ignore it, but it remains, persistent and unspoken. But hear me, you were never meant to carry that burden alone. It is not a mark of strength to hold what is crushing you. It is not noble to quietly suffocate under weight that was meant to be shared. You don't have to impress me with your endurance. You don't have to pretend with me. I see what you can't articulate. I understand the battle you can't describe. I know the layers of the history, the triggers of the fear, the confusion, the ache. I know the burden because I have been walking alongside you through every heavy moment. And now, In this moment, I'm inviting you to release it, not into the hands of people who may misunderstand, but into the hands of the one who understands completely. You don't need perfect words. You don't need explanations. Just give me the burden. Lay it down. Let me hold what has been silently breaking you. Let me give you the relief you've been longing for but could never quite reach. I know the burden you can't explain, and I am ready to carry it with a strength that will finally let you breathe again. Hear this with the clarity your troubled thoughts have been desperate for. You're not losing your mind. You're losing your grip on what's been hurting you. You felt overwhelmed by emotions rising to the surface. You felt scattered, foggy, mentally exhausted, unsure of why things feel so chaotic inside you. You've wondered if you're falling apart because you can't seem to control your thoughts the way you once did. But what you're experiencing is not mental collapse. It is emotional release. It is the unraveling of burdens you were never meant to hold. It is the loosening of fear, guilt, shame, stress, and self-blame that you've clung to for too long. And while it feels disorienting, it is actually evidence that chains are breaking. Think of it this way: when something inside you begins to heal, the pain doesn't disappear quietly. It rises, resurfaces, and demands to be dealt with. Old wounds come up. Old thoughts get challenged. Old patterns begin to lose their power. And in that process, things feel messy, confusing, overwhelming. You feel out of control not because you're spiraling, but because you're finally releasing what was controlling you. Your emotions are not betraying you. They are signaling that something inside is shifting, loosening, breaking free. You're not losing your mind. You're shedding the lies, pressures, and expectations that have kept your soul in survival for years. I see how afraid you've been of this feeling. You wonder why you can't stay composed the way you used to. You wonder why small things hit harder now. You wonder why your patience is thin, your thoughts feel heavy, your heart feels sensitive. But this sensitivity is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that your spirit is waking up, shedding its armor, allowing itself to feel again, breathe again, heal again. Healing doesn't feel like peace at first. It feels like breaking. It feels like losing grip. It feels like uncertainty. But what you're actually losing is the grip of pain on your life. I am with you in this process, not watching from a distance, but guiding, steadying, soothing, anchoring you through every wave. You are not falling apart. You are being rebuilt. You are not losing your mind. You are finding the truth beneath years of emotional suppression. Do not fear the disorientation. It is temporary. It is part of transformation. As you keep walking with me, you will realize that what felt like unraveling was actually releasing. What felt like breaking was actually healing. What felt like losing control was actually gaining freedom. And soon, you will look back and see that your mind was never slipping away. You were simply letting go of what was never meant to stay. Listen to me now, because what I'm doing in you is deeper than feelings, deeper than thoughts, deeper than anything you've tried to fix on your own. I am resetting your heart. You've been living with emotional rhythms that were shaped more by pain than by purpose, more by disappointment than by truth, more by survival than by hope. Your heart has been beating under pressure, carrying weights that slowly dulled your passion, your joy, your sensitivity, your peace. You've adapted to inner chaos, telling yourself this is just what life feels like now. But I am stepping into the very core of you, into the chambers where wounds linger and patterns form. And I am beginning a holy reset, a cleansing, a reordering, a restoration. You felt it in the moments when old ways of thinking suddenly felt too heavy to carry. You felt it in the growing desire for something deeper, something more authentic, something more aligned with who you truly are beneath all the layers. Your heart has been stretched by disappointment, tightened by fear, bruised by betrayal, numbed by overthinking, and exhausted by expectations. You've tried to mend it through distraction, through busyness, through forcing yourself to be strong, but true healing never comes from pretending. It comes from the moment your spirit becomes quiet enough to hear me again, and that is what is happening here. I'm clearing out the remnants of old pain, loosening the grip of burdens you absorbed unconsciously, softening what has become hardened, strengthening what has become fragile. I'm resetting the rhythm of your inner life, not to who you used to be, but to who you are becoming. Some of what you're feeling right now, the confusion, the fatigue, the sudden emotional intensity, is not a sign of collapse. It is the sign of resetting. When I reset a heart, I bring buried emotions to the surface so they can be released. I expose lies so truth can finally take root. I quiet the voices of fear so you can recognize my voice again. I restore the parts of you that you thought were permanently lost. You may not understand everything happening within you, but trust me, I am restoring your joy, renewing your strength, and realigning your spirit with peace. Your heart will not stay scattered. Your emotions will not stay tangled. Your inner world will not stay chaotic. I am resetting you so you can feel again without fear, love again without hesitation, hope again without bracing for disappointment, breathe again without heaviness. This reset is not punishment, it is preparation. It is me preparing you for the next chapter, the next blessing, the next season of growth and clarity. Let your heart rest in this truth. You are being renewed from the inside out, and nothing about this process is accidental. Draw near to what I'm about to say, because it touches the deepest layers of your soul. I am healing the invisible wounds, the ones no one sees, the ones you rarely acknowledge, the ones buried under years of strength and silence. You've walked through experiences that left marks on your spirit, marks that no one else could detect but that have shaped how you trust, how you love, how you see yourself, how you navigate life. Some wounds came from words that cut deeper than anyone realized. Some came from abandonment that taught you to hide your needs. Some came from disappointments that stole your ability to dream. Some came from relationships that drained you. Some came from seasons that broke you in ways you didn't have time to process. These wounds became part of you, so familiar that you stopped recognizing them as wounds. You simply adjusted your life around them. But I saw them. I saw every impact, every moment where pain made you retreat, every disappointment that tightened something inside you, every instance where you swallowed your hurt because no one seemed able to hold it. I watched you endure things that shaped you in ways even you didn't understand. You kept functioning, kept showing up, kept taking care of others, all while bleeding internally in places no one tended. But I am tending to them now. I'm placing my hands on the hidden fractures, the unseen bruises, the internal scars that have quietly influenced your decisions and emotions. Healing invisible wounds doesn't start with forgetting. They start with acknowledgement, honesty, presence. And I am here, fully present, fully attentive, fully aware of every place that still hurts. Healing may feel uncomfortable at first because I'm touching areas you've ignored for years. Emotions may rise unexpectedly. Memories may resurface. Thoughts may feel heavy or clear. But all of this is part of the healing, not the breaking. I am removing the sting, dismantling the lies, soothing the raw places, restoring the parts of your identity you lost along the way. Invisible wounds require divine precision, and I heal them with gentleness, with patience, with understanding deeper than words. You don't have to hide from me. You don't have to pretend to be okay. You don't have to minimize what hurt you. Nothing is too small for my healing. Nothing is too old. Nothing is too complicated. You have carried these hidden wounds long enough. Let me carry the healing. Let me rewrite the stories those wounds told you about yourself. You will not walk wounded forever. Healing is already happening, even now, as you allow my presence to reach the places you've kept in the shadows for far too long. Listen closely, because this truth is going to breathe life into places you thought were permanently numb. Your faith isn't dead. It may feel buried. It may feel weak. It may feel quiet, fragile, inconsistent, or almost unrecognizable, but it is not dead. Faith doesn't die just because it goes silent. It doesn't disappear just because it's been exhausted. It doesn't vanish because life became heavier than your expectations. Faith bends, that doesn't break. It flickers. It doesn't extinguish. It retreats. It doesn't surrender. I've watched your faith through every season. The strong seasons where you believed boldly. The quiet seasons where you could only whisper a prayer. The painful seasons where you weren't sure you believed much at all. But even in those moments, something in you still reached for me. Still hoped. Still longed. Still whispered my name. That spark, that tiny, trembling spark, is living faith. You've mistaken weariness for loss. You've mistaken silence for emptiness. You've mistaken confusion for abandonment. But the truth is that faith grows in ways you don't always recognize. Sometimes it grows through stillness. Sometimes through questions. Sometimes through the very doubt you fear is destroying you. Your doubt has not driven me away. It has drawn me closer. Your tired faith has not disappointed me. It has moved me to restore you. You think your faith is gone because it doesn't feel the way it used to. But faith is not a feeling. It is a seed that survives even in the darkest soil. I am stirring your faith again, not through pressure, not through fear, but through presence. Through moments like this, where your heart leans in without even realizing it. Through the quiet tug inside you telling you that something is waking up. Through the soft inner voice reminding you that you're not alone. Through the very ache that made you seek me in the first place. Your faith isn't dead, it's being revived. I am breathing on the embers. I am stirring the flame. I am reawakening what life tried to bury. You will believe again with strength. You will hope again with boldness. You will trust again with confidence. Your faith will rise, not as a copy of what it was, but as something deeper, wiser, stronger, steadier. What once flickered will burn with purpose. What once trembled will stand firm. What once felt distant will feel intimate again. Do not grieve the faith you think you lost. I am restoring it, renewing it, reviving it, even now, in ways you will soon recognize with unmistakable clarity. Listen closely, because what I am doing in you right now is something you've longed for but never knew how to ask for. I am removing the weight of what you cannot control. You've been gripping situations with both hands, trying to hold together pieces that were never yours to manage. You've been exhausting your heart over outcomes you cannot dictate, timelines you cannot speed up, people you cannot change, and fears you cannot outrun. That pressure you feel in your chest, tight, heavy, unrelenting, did not come from me. It came from the illusion that you must oversee every detail of your life or everything will fall apart. You've been living as if the world rests on your shoulders, as if your constant vigilance is the only thing preventing disaster, as if perfection is the price of safety. But hear me, you were never designed to carry those things. And the heaviness you feel is not because you're failing. It's because you're carrying burdens I never intended you to lift. I see the way you replay conversations, analyzing every word, worrying if you said too much or too little. I see how you stay awake at night trying to predict outcomes, trying to prepare for every possible scenario, trying to shield yourself from disappointment by anticipating every form it might take. I see how you try to manage people's perceptions of you, fearing rejection, fearing misunderstanding, fearing that being yourself won't be enough. I see the way you carry responsibility for things that are not yours, burdens handed to you by trauma, by expectation, by the fear that if you don't control everything, everything will collapse. But beloved, that is not your role. That is not your calling. That is not your identity. You are not the sustainer of the universe. You are not the keeper of every outcome. You are not the anchor of every storm. I am. And so, I am loosening your grip, not to take things from you, but to give you back your peace. I'm removing the emotional weight you've worn like armor, the mental strain that has become your default, the spiritual exhaustion that comes from trying to do my job. I am teaching you to release what you cannot change, to surrender what is not yours to fix, to breathe again without feeling like you're failing. You don't need to micromanage my plans. You don't need to control people's choices. You don't need to protect yourself from what I have already gone ahead of you to handle. Release it. All of it. Let me take the weight that has been quietly breaking you piece by piece. The moment you let go is not the moment things fall apart. It is the moment I finally step in with the fullness of what I've been waiting to give. You will feel lighter. You will feel clear. You will feel peace again. Because the weight you've been carrying is leaving your hands and entering mine. Hear me with the seriousness of a truth that has chased you for years. I am breaking the patterns that keep hurting you. You've walked through cycles that repeat themselves, almost like clockwork. Patterns in relationships. Patterns in your thoughts. Patterns in how you respond to stress, disappointment, fear, pressure. You've wondered why you keep ending up in the same emotional place, no matter how much you try to change. You've wondered why certain triggers hit you so deeply. You've wondered why you fall back into habits you swore you'd outgrown, or why you tolerate things that drain you, or why you shut down when you actually need support. These patterns weren't formed overnight. They were shaped by wounds you didn't choose, by experiences that marked you, by beliefs that were planted in moments of fear or pain. And those patterns have survived not because you are weak, but because you've been fighting battles with tools that were never meant to heal you. But I see every pattern. I see every cycle. I see every internal loop you keep getting caught in. And I am breaking them, one by one, layer by layer, lie by lie. Some patterns existed because you learned to protect yourself. Others because you didn't know your worth. Others because you believed you deserved less. Others because fear taught you to expect something small instead of something beautiful. But none of these patterns have authority over you when my presence steps in. I am exposing them, not to shame you, but to free you. I'm pulling them up by the roots, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when emotions you've buried begin to surface, even when you feel vulnerable in ways you aren't used to. This is not chaos, this is healing. I am dismantling the beliefs that have kept you stuck. I'm breaking the emotional reflexes that pull you backward. I'm undoing the lies that shaped your identity. I'm interrupting the relationships, habits, and thought cycles that drain the life out of you. What once shaped you will no longer control you. What once held you prisoner will no longer dictate your choices. I'm creating space for new patterns, patterns of peace, patterns of confidence, patterns of rest, patterns of self-worth, patterns of healthy connection, patterns of courage. You will feel the shift. You will see yourself respond differently. You will feel strength rise in places that used to collapse. And you will know it wasn't your effort that broke the cycles. It was my love, working from the inside out, freeing you from everything that kept you living beneath who you truly are. Hear my voice in a way that feels like it reaches straight into your spirit. I am calling you back to intimacy with me. Not religion, not routine, not obligation, not distant belief, but closeness. Real closeness. The kind where you stop performing and start being. The kind where your heart feels seen instead of judged. The kind where silence feels full instead of empty. The kind where you can exhale without worrying that I'll be disappointed by what's inside you. You've drifted, not because you don't care, but because life has been loud, overwhelming, distracting. Responsibilities pulled your attention. Pain pulled your hope. Weariness pulled your focus. And without realizing it, you slowly shifted into living off of memory instead of connection, routine instead of relationship, effort instead of intimacy. But I've missed you, not in anger, not in judgment, but the way a parent misses the sound of their child's voice. I've missed the moments when you spoke to me freely, when you didn't filter your emotions, when you didn't feel the need to be composed, when your prayers were informal, they were honest. I've missed the moments when you allowed my peace to wrap around you, when you let my presence steady you, when you didn't feel the need to impress me but simply rested with me. And this is what I'm calling you back into. Not duty, but connection. You don't need to come to me with perfect words. You don't need to fix yourself before approaching me. You don't need to pretend you're stronger than you are. Just come. Bring the exhaustion. Bring the nerves. Bring the questions. Bring the faith you feel and the faith you've lost. Bring the real you, the tired you, the hopeful you, the hurting you, the longing you. Let me hold what your hands can't. Let me speak into what confuses you. Let me comfort what aches in you. Let me refill what life has emptied. Intimacy with me is not a task. It is a refuge. It is the place where strength returns, where clarity comes, where healing deepens, where identity becomes clear. I'm calling you back not because you failed, but because I want your heart near mine again. I want you to remember what it feels like to feel me, to hear me, to lean on me without hesitation. This isn't a correction. It is an invitation. Come back to the place where your soul feels at home. I'm right here, waiting, ready to draw you closer than ever before. Listen to me now with the part of your soul that secretly fears it's beyond repair. You are not too far gone. Not too broken. Not too damaged. Not too lost. Not too complicated. Not too flawed. You have walked through seasons that made you feel like you drifted farther from hope than you ever intended. You've made decisions you wish you could bury. You've held thoughts you've been afraid to admit. You faced moments where you wondered if the version of you I once knew had disappeared under the weight of everything life has thrown at you. But hear me with a truth that breaks through every layer of shame and fear. You have never been beyond my reach. Not once. Not ever. You think the distance you feel is evidence of failure, but often the distance you feel is simply the soul's hunger for reconnection. You think the mistakes you've made disqualified you, but mistakes do not erase identity. You think your past wiped out your potential, but your potential is anchored in me, not in perfection. You look at areas of your life that feel ruined, relationships that fractured, dreams that fell apart, habits you couldn't break, fears that overcame you, and you assume these things have pushed you past the point of restoration. But restoration is what I do. Redemption is what I breathe. Renewal is what I build within you. Nothing you've done has surprised me. Nothing you face has shocked me. Nothing you've wrestled with has caused me to withdraw. I've stayed near through every detour, every fall, every weakness, every moment where you thought you were disqualified. You measure yourself by your mistakes, I measure you by your design. You assess yourself through your failures. I see you through your potential. You judge yourself harshly. I hold you tenderly. You fear you've gone too far, but my reach extends farther than your wandering. You fear you've fallen too deep, but my love goes deeper still. You fear you've messed up too many times, but my mercy does not have a limit. Let this truth wash over you gently, yet firmly. You are not too far gone for me to restore. You have not ruined my plans. You have not lost your worth. You have not forfeited your future. Everything that feels broken can be rebuilt. Everything that feels lost can be found. Everything that feels dead can rise again. You don't have to climb your way back with perfection. You simply have to turn your heart toward me, even slightly, and I meet you with a love that gathers the pieces without hesitation. You are not too far gone. You are deeply, fiercely, eternally held. And what comes next in your journey will prove this in ways you never imagined. Hear me with the honesty your heart has longed for. I am rebuilding your confidence, not the surface-level confidence that depends on applause or achievement, but the kind that grows from knowing who you are and whose you are. You've lived through seasons that damaged your sense of self. Moments where rejection made you shrink. Moments where disappointment made you doubt your worth. Moments where comparison convinced you that you were not enough. You've battled inner voices that told you to stay small, stay quiet, stay hidden. You've convinced yourself at times that you're too much or not enough, too late or too flawed, too wounded or too unqualified. But I see a different picture. I see the strength beneath your hesitation. I see the courage beneath your fear. I see the resilience beneath your exhaustion. I see the potential buried under the layers of self-doubt. Confidence isn't something you lost. It's something that was covered. Life pressed down on it. People's opinions distorted it. Pain overshadowed it. But I am uncovering it again. I'm speaking to the part of you that once believed you could rise. I'm awakening the part of you that once dreamed without fear. I'm breathing life into the part of you that used to hope boldly. Your confidence has been bruised, not broken. And I'm healing it piece by piece, moment by moment, truth by truth. You will feel it returning, not as arrogance but as assurance. Not as pride but as identity. Not as pressure but as peace. I'm reminding you of who you are, capable, valuable, chosen, equipped. I'm restoring your ability to walk into a room without shrinking, to speak without overthinking, to make decisions without second-guessing yourself, to pursue what I've placed within you without fearing failure. Confidence grows when your soul aligns with truth, and that truth is this: you are mine. And because you are mine, you lack nothing essential. I'm rebuilding your confidence so you can step into the opportunities I have prepared for you, not timidly, but boldly, not conditionally but fully, not half-heartedly, but with the quiet assurance of someone who knows they are backed by my strength. This confidence is rising again, and as it grows, you will feel freedom in places you once felt fear. Let these words settle deep into the spaces where anxiety has been whispering. Your future is not threatened. Not by your past. Not by your fears. Not by your delays. Not by what others did to you. Not by what you did wrong. Not by what you didn't know. Not by timing that feels off or opportunities that seem to slip through your fingers. You've been living with the fear that you might ruin your destiny, that life has set you back too far, that you've missed something you'll never get back. But I want you to hear this with all the clarity of my presence. Nothing, absolutely nothing, can destroy the future I have written for you. You fear uncertainty because you assume the unknown is dangerous. But the unknown is simply territory where my sovereignty becomes visible. You fear lack of clarity because you think confusion means failure, but confusion often means I'm shifting things beneath the surface. You fear delay because you think delay means denial, but delay often means preparation. Your future is not fragile. It is not hanging by a thread. It is not one mistake away from collapsing. It is anchored in me, unshakable, unaltered, unaffected by circumstances that feel overwhelming to you but are small within my hands. You look at your life and see instability. I look at your life and see unfolding. You see obstacles. I see opportunities. You see closed doors. I see redirected ones. You see reasons to worry. I see reasons to shape you. Nothing threatened what I have planned. Nothing can override what I have spoken. Nothing can erase what I have ordained. Even the things that felt like setbacks will become stepping stones. Even the moments that hurt you will hold purpose. Even the losses will lead to gain in ways you do not yet understand. Let this truth soothe your anxious thoughts. Your future is not at the mercy of people, circumstances, or timing. It is held firmly in the hands of the one who sees every detail from beginning to end. You will arrive where you are meant to be. You will receive what is meant for you. You will walk into seasons designed for your growth, your healing, your purpose, your joy. Your future is protected, prepared, and unfolding, even now, as you keep walking with me. Listen to me with the part of you that has gone quiet, the part that once stared to hope but now feels numb, cautious, or guarded. I am restoring your ability to hope again. You haven't lost hope because you're weak. You lost hope because life broke too many things you were holding onto. You stopped hoping the day disappointment hit harder than your expectations. You stopped hoping when prayers you cried with trembling hands seemed to go unanswered. You stopped hoping when trust felt dangerous, when dreaming felt foolish, when wanting more felt like opening yourself to pain again. You've been living with a quiet resignation, telling yourself to settle, to accept less, to not expect too much, because expecting felt like inviting heartbreak. But hear me now. I am breathing life back into the places where hope once lived, places that have been dormant for too long. Hope is not naive. It is powerful. Hope is not fragile. It is resilient. Hope is not a reckless longing. It is a declaration that you believe I am still working, still moving, still writing your story. And I know why you shut your hope down. I know what disappointed you. I know what hurt you. I know what you waited for that never came in the way you imagined. I know the dreams that chattered and the prayers that felt like silence. But I am not abandoning you in that numbness. I am rekindling the flame. I am whispering to the places inside you that believe your best days were behind you. I am stirring desire again, not the painful kind, but the kind that grows where healing has taken root. You don't have to force yourself to hope. I am awakening it naturally, gently, deliberately. I'm opening your eyes to possibilities again. I'm softening the grip of cynicism on your heart. I'm loosening the fear that says if I hope, I will be hurt. I'm restoring the courage to believe in goodness again, to anticipate joy again, to expect breakthroughs instead of bracing for disappointment. Hope is returning, not as a fragile spark but as a steady flame. You will feel it rise in your thoughts, in your prayers, in your conversations, in the way you begin to look at your future. You will notice yourself daring to believe again, not because everything is perfect, but because I am holding your future. This restoration is already underway, and as hope awakens within you, your spirit will rise with a strength you forgot you had. Hear me with the intensity of someone reaching into the whirlwind of your emotions. I am speaking peace over your storm. Not peace after it's over. Not peace once everything makes sense. Peace in the middle of it. Peace while the waves are still high. Peace while the winds still howl. Peace while uncertainty tries to choke your clarity. You've been walking through a storm inside your mind, thoughts racing, fear circling, questions multiplying, emotions hitting you from all sides. You've tried to stay calm, tried to breathe, tried to distract yourself, tried to push through, but the storm hasn't bent to your strength. And it won't, because this storm isn't meant to be navigated by your power. It's meant to be stilled by mine. I see the chaos inside you, the panic beneath the surface, the heaviness behind your eyes, the tension in your chest that doesn't quite go away. I see how you've tried to be strong for others while barely holding yourself together. I see the sleeplessness, the overthinking, the fear of what might happen next. But I want you to understand something sacred. Storms don't scare me. Your chaos doesn't overwhelm me. Your questions don't intimidate me. I step into storms, not after they settle, but while they rage, and I speak peace with authority, not suggestion. When I speak peace, fear loses its grip. When I speak peace, confusion begins to clear. When I speak peace, your heart remembers who is truly in control. Right now, I am not asking the storm to test your strength. I am commanding it to bow to mine. This peace I am speaking over you is not temporary, not shallow, not conditional. It is the kind of peace that protects your mind from spiraling, your heart from breaking, and your spirit from sinking. You may still hear the thunder around you, but inside you, something deeper is settling. A stillness, a knowing, a calm that does not make sense based on what you see, but makes perfect sense when you remember who stands beside you. I am not promising that all circumstances will change in a moment, but I am promising that your heart can rest before the change even comes. Peace is entering you the way light enters a dark room, quietly but undeniably. Accept it, breathe it in, let it wrap around the parts of you that have been shaking. I am here, and where I am, peace reigns. Listen with the part of you that has felt hidden for far too long. I am pulling you out of the shadows. Not the shadows other people placed you in, but the shadows you retreated into because you were tired, hurt, uncertain, or afraid. You've hidden pieces of yourself, your voice, your gifts, your personality, your dreams, because somewhere along the way, the world convinced you that being fully seen was unsafe. You began drinking. You began dimming your light. You began stepping back instead of stepping forward. You let others take the lead while you quietly stayed in the background, even when something in you longed to rise. And though you've gotten used to the shadows, it is not where you belong. You hide because you don't want to be judged. You hide because you don't want to fail publicly. You hide because you don't want to disappoint anyone. You hide because you worry your gifts are not enough or too much. You hide because past wounds taught you to protect yourself by becoming invisible. But hear me, your identity was never meant to flourish in hiding. Your potential was not designed to grow in darkness. I did not create you to shrink yourself until you become unrecognizable. I'm calling you out, not to expose you, but to reveal the beauty, strength, and purpose I placed inside you. I know the shadows felt safe. They gave you space to breathe. They protected you from the noise. They allowed you to survive seasons of pain. But now they are holding you back. They are keeping you from connections, opportunities, healing, and purpose. They are keeping you from the life you were meant to live. And I love you too much to let you remain hidden in a place where you can't grow. So I'm shining light into the corners where you've retreated. Not harsh light, gentle, warm, healing light that invites you out little by little, step by step, until you rediscover the confidence you lost. You won't walk alone as you step out. I'm guiding you. I'm strengthening you. I'm surrounding you with people and moments that affirm rather than diminish you. I'm pulling you out of the shadows because your life has too much purpose to remain dim. Your story has too much power to stay silent. Your heart has too much love to remain hidden. This is your rising. This is your emergence. This is the moment where you step into who you were always meant to be. Listen to me with the part of you that has felt abandoned in rooms full of people. I am breaking off the lie that you're alone. That lie has followed you for years, weaving itself into moments of silence, into heartbreaks, into transitions, into dark nights when your thoughts felt too loud. It has whispered to you after people left. It has echoed in seasons when no one checked on you. It has wrapped itself around your heart during times when you were the one others leaned on, yet no one seemed to see when you were the one hurting. That lie has convinced you that you walk through life unnoticed, unsupported, unseen. But I tell you with a voice that cuts through every shadow that has ever touched your spirit, you have never walked a single step without me beside you. You may not have felt me. You may not have sensed my presence. You may have believed your struggles were too small, too messy, or too complicated to bring before me. But I have been closer to you than anyone ever has. I have sat with you when tears fell silently from your eyes. I have stood beside you in rooms where you felt invisible. I have wrapped my presence around you when loneliness threatened to swallow you whole. You thought you were abandoned, but I was carrying you. You thought no one heard your pain, but I was listening with attention deeper than your own heartbeat. You thought you were forgotten, but I had my eyes fixed on you every moment. The lie of loneliness grows loud when the world feels cold, when relationships shift, when seasons change, when disappointments pile up. It grows loud when you stop talking about what hurts, when you become the strong one for everyone else, when you convince yourself that vulnerability is too risky. But hear me. Your isolation is not the truth of your story. The truth is that my presence has never once left you. I have walked with you through every valley, stood with you in every battle, breathed life into you during every moment when you felt empty. I am breaking off this lie not by telling you you're loved, but by showing you. I'm bringing people into your life who will see you in ways past connections never could. I'm restoring your sensitivity to my presence. I'm healing the part of your heart that equated solitude with abandonment. You're stepping into a new season where my nearness becomes undeniable, where you no longer interpret silence as absence, where you no longer mistake other people's limitations as evidence of your unworthiness. You are not alone. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not in any way that matters. The lie of loneliness ends here, because my truth is stronger than any whisper fear has ever spoken over you. Hear me with a heart ready to release the old lessons pain carved into you. I am rewriting what hurt tried to teach you. Pain is a powerful teacher, but it does not always tell the truth. Hurt taught you to lower your expectations. Hurt taught you to anticipate disappointment. Hurt taught you to mistrust kindness, question motives, stay guarded, stay small, stay quiet. Hurt taught you to believe that you are hard to love, easy to leave, difficult to understand. Hurt taught you that vulnerability equals danger, that hope equals heartbreak, that loving others equals losing yourself. But pain, no matter how deeply it cut, does not get the final say over how you see the world or how you see yourself. I am rewriting the lessons that wounds tried to engrave on your soul. The moments that broke you will not define how you move forward. The betrayals that scarred you will not dictate how you trust. The losses that shook you will not distort how you dream. For too long, hurt hath been shaping your beliefs about love, about people, about your future, about your worth, about me. But now, I am reclaiming that space. I'm pulling out the lies one by one, replacing them with truth that restores, heals, and strengthens you. Hurt told you that you had to be guarded. Truth says you can be protected without being closed. Hurt told you you're unworthy. Truth says you were chosen before time. Hurt told you people leave. Truth says I will never abandon you. Hurt told you to expect bad endings. Truth says I am a God of resurrection and restoration. Hurt told you you're too broken. Truth says nothing is beyond my healing. I am rewriting your internal narrative. You will begin to see relationships differently, not as threats but as gifts. You will begin to see yourself differently, not as damaged, but as deeply loved and intentionally crafted. You will begin to see your future differently, not as something to fear, but something to anticipate with hope. This rewiring won't always feel comfortable. Sometimes healing feels like conflict, because my truth confronts old lies that have lived inside you for years. But trust the process. I'm not writing your story to erase the past. I'm writing the way the past affects your heart. You will not live with wounded perspectives anymore. I am restoring clarity, trust, warmth, hope, and wholeness in you. What hurt taught you is not who you are. What I teach you is. Listen closely now, because this is one of the most important truths I want to speak over you. I am restoring your identity. Not the identity shaped by childhood wounds. Not the identity shaped by other people's expectations. Not the identity shaped by failures or insecurities or mistakes or trauma. I'm restoring the identity you were created with. The identity that existed before life complicated who you believed yourself to be. There is a version of you that pain tried to silence, that fear tried to bury, that shame tried to distort, that comparison tried to crush. But that version of you, the real you, is not gone. It has simply been covered. Life has spoken many names over you. Broken. Unworthy. Not enough. Too much. Invisible. Forgotten. Behind. Damage. These names stuck to you because they came during vulnerable seasons. But they were never your identity. They were experiences, not definitions. And now, I'm peeling those false names off your spirit. One by one. Layer by layer. Gently but powerfully. I'm removing the labels that never belonged to you. I'm undoing the lies you unknowingly internalized. I'm calling forth the truth of who you've always been underneath it all. You are loved. You are called. You are capable. You are chosen. You are strong. You are seen. You are valuable. You are wanted. You are held. You are mine. Your identity has been shaped for too long by moments that wounded you. But identity is not built on pain. It's built on purpose. I crafted you intentionally, intricately, lovingly. I placed gifts in you that no season of struggle can erase. I placed strength in you that no heartbreak can steal. I placed destiny in you that no mistake can cancel. I placed beauty in you that no rejection can diminish. I know who you truly are, even when you forget, even when your confidence wavers, even when you feel small. And I am restoring that identity now, not as a distant truth, but as a living reality. You will begin to feel it. You will begin to walk differently, speak differently, think differently. Not because you are trying to be someone else, but because you are finally remembering who you've always been. Identity is coming back to you like breath, like light, like strength, like clarity. Let me restore it. Let who you are in my eyes become who you are in your own. Listen to me with the honesty that rises when you finally admit to yourself what's been hurting you. I am calling you to lay down what's poisoning your spirit. You know exactly what it is, even if you've convinced yourself you can manage it, control it, hide it, or balance it alongside your faith. It's the mindset that drains you. It's the habit that numbs you. It's the relationship that wounds you. It's the fear that sabotages you. It's the bitterness that quietly shapes your reactions. It's the secret compromise that keeps you stuck. It's the weight you've carried because you weren't ready to release it. And for a long time, you've learned to live with it, keeping it tucked away where others can't see, telling yourself it isn't that serious, telling yourself you'll deal with it eventually. But eventually has arrived. I am placing my hand gently, but firmly on that very thing, not to condemn you, but to free you from what has been corroding your peace. You felt its effects in your emotions, flashes of anger, waves of heaviness, sudden anxiety you can't explain. You felt its effects in your thinking, thought patterns that spiral, doubts that multiply, self-criticism that grows louder than truth. You felt its effects in your relationships, walls you can't seem to lower, trust you struggle to extend, boundaries you don't know how to maintain. You've even felt its effects in your spirit, a sense of disconnect, a fog that dims your clarity, a distance you can't fully name. Poison doesn't always show itself loudly. Sometimes it works subtly, slowly, silently. But I see it clearly, and I am calling you to release it because you were never meant to live with spiritual toxicity. Lay down what poisons you, not out of fear, but out of freedom. Lay down the bitterness that eats away at your joy. Lay down the habits that numb your heart. Lay down the people-pleasing that exhausts you. Lay down the unforgiveness that suffocates you. Lay down the secret battles that drain your strength. Lay down the shame that whispers you're unworthy. Lay down the coping mechanisms that feel comforting but leave you empty. I am not taking something from you. I am removing something that has taken far too much from you. And in the space where poison once lived, I will pour peace. I will pour clarity. I will pour renewal. I will pour strength. I will pour truth. As you release what hath been poisoning you, you will feel lighter in places you forgot were heavy. You will breathe more freely. You will think more clearly. You will pray with more connection. You will love with more openness. I am calling you to lay it down not because I want something from you, but because I want something for you. Wholeness, fullness, healing, and freedom. Let this be the moment where you finally put it down, and let me heal what you've carried for far too long. Listen with the deepest part of your being, the part that once dreamed boldly, the part that once believed there was something meaningful inside you waiting to be lived. I am awakening your purpose again. Not the watered-down version of your purpose you settled for when life disappointed you. Not the convenient or comfortable version you adopted when fear silenced your passion. Not the version shaped by others' expectations. I'm awakening the real purpose, the one woven into your spirit before you ever experienced a single heartbreak. You may think your purpose has grown faint, buried under responsibilities, exhaustion, or years of simply trying to survive. But a buried purpose is not a dead purpose. It hath been waiting, quietly, patiently, faithfully, for this moment of awakening. You felt sparks of it lately, even if you didn't recognize them. The tug toward something deeper. The dissatisfaction with routine. A quiet ache for meaning. The sense that you're meant for more than the motions you've been going through. These are not random feelings. They are my stirring. Your purpose hath been sleeping, but I am waking it gently, calling it to rise within you, letting it stretch after being tucked away for so long. You may have thought you lost it, but I never let it go. Even when you felt aimless, your purpose remained intact. Even when you felt unqualified, it remained assigned to you. Even when you felt like life had passed you by, purpose waited for the moment your heart would be ready to feel again. But hear me, purpose is not pressure. Purpose is not performance. Purpose is not perfection. Purpose is alignment. Your gifts aligning with my design. Your heart aligning with my voice. Your steps aligning with the path I've prepared. I am reawakening the passions you silenced. I am reigniting the compassion you once carried. I am restoring the creativity, the boldness, the ideas, the callings you pushed aside when life demanded survival. Purpose is rising not with anxiety but with clarity, not with confusion, but with excitement, not with striving, but with surrender. You will notice it taking shape in your thoughts, in your desires, in your conversations. You will feel drawn toward certain things with a pull you can't ignore. You will feel unsettled in places where you've outgrown who you used to be. You will feel conviction in areas where complacency once lived. You will feel vision where fog once existed. That is purpose awakening. That is me awakening you. Don't fear it. Don't question it. Don't shrink from it. I am awakening your purpose again because the world needs what I placed inside you, and you are ready, more ready than you think. Hear me with the authority that cuts through every inner criticism you've ever believed. I am breaking the voice of self-doubt. That voice has lived inside you for years, disguised as caution, disguised as humility, disguised as protection. It has convinced you that you're not enough, that others know better, that you're destined to fail, that your ideas aren't good, that your presence doesn't matter, that you should play small, stay quiet, stay safe. That voice has talked you out of opportunities. It has silenced your gifts. It has blocked your confidence. It has distorted your identity. And you've believed it, not because it was true, but because it was familiar. Self-doubt often sounds believable when it grows from old wounds. But hear the truth. That voice is not me. It never was. And I am breaking its power over you. Self-doubt has spoken loudly for long enough. It has shaped how you walk into rooms, how you speak, how you hide, how you shrink, how you silence parts of yourself that were never meant to be silenced. It has made you apologize for existing. It has made you question your own worth. It has made you second-guess your decisions, your dreams, your abilities, your future. That ends now. I'm unraveling the lies self-doubt has whispered into your mind. I'm confronting the false beliefs that told you you're unworthy, incompetent, or insignificant. I'm replacing them with truth. Truth that speaks to your identity, your calling, your strength. You are capable of more than you think. You are wiser than you realize. You are stronger than you believe. You carry gifts that were intentionally placed within you. You have insight that comes from experience and compassion that comes from depth. You were designed with purpose, not by accident. When the voice of self-doubt rises, my voice will rise louder. When insecurity tries to suffocate your confidence, I will infuse you with courage. When fear tells you to shrink, I will remind you that you are called to stand. When your mind tries to replay old failures, I will show you how far you've come. You will notice a shift in the way you speak to yourself. You will notice new boldness in decisions. You will notice a steadiness in your spirit that self-doubt cannot shake. This is not you becoming arrogant. This is you becoming aligned with truth. Self-doubt has had its time. It has had its influence. But it no longer has authority. I'm breaking that voice. I'm restoring your confidence. I'm empowering you to see yourself the way I see you. And once you begin to walk in that truth, there will be no room left for the lies that once lived loudly inside you. Listen to me with the part of you that has spent years shrinking yourself. I am removing the fear of being too much. You softened your voice so others wouldn't feel overwhelmed. You've dimmed your passion so it wouldn't look like intensity. You've held back your ideas because you didn't want to outshine anyone. You've hidden your depth because some people preferred you shallow. You suppressed your emotions because you didn't want to inconvenience anyone. Somewhere along the way, you learned to believe that your personality, your strength, your ambition, your sensitivity, your intelligence, your compassion, your spiritual hunger, were all too much. And so you started breaking yourself into smaller pieces that felt more acceptable, more manageable, more comfortable for others to handle. But hear me now, nothing about you is too much for me. Nothing about your heart, your intensity, your gifts, your fire, your tenderness, or your calling overwhelms me. What others called too much was simply misunderstood. The fear of being too much has kept you from becoming who you were designed to be. It's made you swallow your laughter, silence your insight, minimize your talents, apologize for your emotions, and settle for spaces that were never worthy of your fullness. You've chosen dim rooms because bright ones felt dangerous. You've chosen silence because expression felt risky. You've chosen invisibility because someone once made you feel like your presence took up too much space. But listen, I created you with intentionality. Your personality was crafted with precision. Your intensity was shaped with purpose. Your emotions were designed with depth. Your giftings were embedded with destiny. You are not too much. You are exactly the amount I intended. I'm removing the fear that made you shrink. I'm healing the wound that made you apologize for your existence. I'm restoring the boldness you lost in the moments people didn't know how to hold your fullness. You're not wrong for being deep. You're not wrong for being passionate. You're not wrong for feeling strongly. You're not wrong for thinking deeply. You're not wrong for wanting meaning in everything you do. You're not wrong for desiring connection, purpose, authenticity, and truth. These things make you who you are, and who you are is purposeful, powerful, and beautifully crafted. As this fear lifts, you will notice yourself speaking with more clarity, living with more freedom, connecting with more confidence. You'll stop apologizing for your presence. You'll stop editing your personality. You'll stop shrinking your spirit to fit into spaces that cannot hold you. I am expanding your identity back to its true size. You're not too much. You were just too much for the wrong environments. In the right places, with the right people, in the right calling, your fullness will not only be welcomed, it will be needed. Hear me now with the exhaustion you've been carrying in silence. I am lifting the weight of other people's expectations off your shoulders. For too long, you have lived in the tight space between who you truly are and who others want you to be. You've carried the pressure to please, to perform, to maintain, to keep peace, to meet standards that were never meant to define you. You've been bending under the weight of being everything for everyone, while quietly feeling like you're losing yourself. You've shaped your decisions around what others might think. You've suppressed your desires because of what others might say. You've allowed guilt to control your boundaries. You've accepted roles you didn't want because you didn't want to disappoint. And slowly, piece by piece, the weight of their expectations became heavier than your own heartbeat. But I see the toll it has taken on you. I see how tired you are, not from the work itself, but from the emotional burden of carrying so many hopes, fears, and assumptions that were never yours to shoulder. I see how you worry about letting others down, even when it means letting yourself down. I see how you've been trying to live a life that satisfies everyone except the one who actually has to live it, you. But hear me. Your worth is not determined by how well you meet the expectations of others. Your identity is not tied to their approval. Your purpose is not shaped by their comfort. I am lifting this weight because it is suffocating your spirit, burying your authenticity, and clouding your direction. You don't need to be everything for everyone. You don't need to meet standards that drain you. You don't need to apologize for choosing peace over pressure. You don't need permission to live a life aligned with who I designed you to be. I am giving you the courage to disappoint the right people, so you can finally stop disappointing yourself. I am giving you the strength to say no without guilt, to choose boundaries without fear, to honor your own soul without feeling selfish. As this weight lifts, you will breathe differently. You will think differently. You will move differently. You will start living from the inside out, not the outside in. You will realize that the expectations that once controlled you were never meant to define your worth. And once they break, you will finally have space, beautiful, sacred space, to become the person you were meant to be all along. Listen deeply. I am restoring the childlike part of you that life tried to steal. The part that used to wonder. The part that used to laugh easily. The part that believed good things were possible. The part that trusted without overthinking. The part that lived freely instead of cautiously. Somewhere along the journey, the world became heavy. Responsibilities grew. Losses accumulated. Disappointments hardened you. Betrayals taught you to be careful. Fear taught you to be distant. Pain taught you to brace yourself instead of enjoy the moment. And slowly, the childlike parts of you, the joy, the curiosity, the lightness, the innocence, the unfiltered hope, began to fade. Not because you wanted them gone, but because life demanded survival instead of wonder. But I never intended for adulthood to kill your childlike heart. I designed you with a spirit capable of joy, curiosity, creativity, and trust, not just when you were young, but throughout your entire life. You've mistaken maturity for numbness. You've mistaken wisdom for pessimism. You've mistaken caution for protection. You've mistaken walls for strength. But hear me. The childlike part of you was never a weakness. It was a gift. It was the part of you that connected with me most naturally, the part that dared to dream without fear, the part that loved without hesitation, the part that expected goodness, the part that saw beauty in simple things. And I am restoring that part now, not in a childish way, but in a way that reconnects you to the purest truth of who you are. I'm restoring your wonder so life no longer feels like only a burden. I'm restoring your joy so laughter becomes easier again. I'm restoring your trust so fear no longer controls your choices. I'm restoring your creativity so your soul can breathe. I'm restoring your sense of possibility so hope can rise again. You will notice it in small ways first. The way your heart softens. The way you smile more easily. The way peace comes quicker. The way heaviness lifts faster. The way you begin to dream again without immediately expecting disappointment. That is the restoration of the childlike spirit. It is healing, not regression. It is freedom, not foolishness. It is life returning to places inside you that have been dormant for years. Let me restore this part of you. Let me return what life took. Let me awaken the joy, hope, wonder, and freedom you thought were gone forever. They are still in you, waiting for this exact moment to rise again. Listen to me now with the part of you that has been holding its breath for years. I am teaching you how to breathe again. Not the shallow, survival mode breathing you've grown accustomed to. Not the tight, guarded breaths you take when you're trying to stay composed. I'm talking about the deep, steady, soul-cleansing breath that comes when your spirit finally trusts that you are safe. Safe to feel, safe to heal, safe to hope, safe to rest. You've spent so long bracing yourself for impact that you forgot what it feels like to live without fear gripping your lungs. You learned how to exist in tension, how to move through life carrying stress so familiar you barely recognize it as stress anymore. You've taken breath after breath without realizing you were inhaling worry and exhaling exhaustion. And this pace, this tightness, this constant readiness to defend or endure. It has drained you far more than you admit, even to yourself. But I am stepping into that space now, gently placing my hand on your chest in a spiritual sense, calming the rhythm of your inner world. I am teaching you to breathe again. Your breath reveals your battles. It shows where you've been wounded, where you're afraid, where you're carrying memories you haven't fully released. Every held breath has a story. Every ashes inhale has a reason. Every shaky exhale carries the weight of something you never processed. But you don't have to keep breathing like someone who expects pain at any moment. I am leading you into a new kind of internal rhythm, a rhythm where peace becomes your default instead of panic, where rest replaces tension, where trust silences fear. You may not notice the shift at first, but slowly, subtly, beautifully, you'll realize that what used to overwhelm you no longer controls you. What used to tighten your chest no longer owns your lungs. What used to push you into emotional survival no longer has the authority to dictate your inner world. I'm inviting you to breathe in my presence, to let my nearness settle your thoughts and loosen everything that has been knotted within you. I'm asking you to breathe me in and breathe out the pressure you've been silently carrying. Breathe in truth. Breathe out lies. Breathe in hope. Breathe out fear. Breathe in peace. Breathe out anxiety. This is not poetic language. This is a spiritual rebalancing happening inside you even now as you listen. The more you allow me into your inner world, the more your breath will align with healing instead of surviving. You're learning again how to exist without bracing, how to live without flinching, how to hope without tightening, how to rest without guilt. This is your new beginning, a life where your breath is not heavy with the past but filled with the freedom of everything I am restoring within you. Lean in with the part of you that has quietly accepted defeat. I am opening doors you thought were closed forever. There are opportunities you gave up on, dreams you put in the back of your mind, desires you buried because disappointment taught you not to expect too much. There are prayers you stopped praying because you assumed the answer was no or not anymore. There are hopes you silenced because the ache of wanting them became too painful. You've told yourself it's too late. You've convinced yourself the window has passed. You've begun to believe that certain chapters are sealed permanently. But hear me now, time does not restrict me. Circumstances do not limit me. Even your own past decisions do not diminish my ability to reopen what you thought was permanently shut. You saw a door close and assumed it meant the story was over. But I close doors for protection, not punishment. I delay things for preparation, not denial. And there are things you longed for that you weren't ready to hold at the time, rooms you weren't equipped to step into yet, blessings that would have crushed you instead of blessing you. But the season has shifted. You have grown. You have healed. You have matured. You have learned lessons that now prepare you to receive what was once beyond your capacity. The doors you thought were sealed are not sealed. They were simply waiting for the right version of you to approach them. And now, I'm turning keys in places you forgot existed. Opportunities are coming back around, redeemed, reshaped, and perfectly timed. Dreams you thought had expired are being revived with new purpose. Connections you believed were lost forever will reappear unexpectedly. Desires you buried will begin stirring again, but this time without the weight of fear. Even paths you thought were ruined by past mistakes can be reopened because I specialize in redemption, restoration, and resurrection. Don't focus on the years you think you've lost. Focus on the fact that I am the God who can restore faster than time can take. What took years to break, I can heal in moments. What felt impossible yesterday can open effortlessly tomorrow. I'm not asking you to force anything. I'm asking you to remain open, expectant, willing to believe again. Because doors are opening. Pathways are clearing. Opportunities are rising. What you thought was finished is only beginning. And when these doors open, you will understand that nothing is ever too closed, too late, too far gone, or too broken for me to reopen in the perfect moment. Hear this with the part of you that has been exhausted for far too long. I am removing the inner war you've been fighting. You've lived with a battle inside your mind, a constant struggle between who you want to be and who you fear you are. Thoughts pulling you in opposite directions. Emotions clashing. Doubts rising. Confidence sinking. Peace slipping away just when you thought you had grasped it. You've tried to silence the war with distraction, with productivity, with forced positivity, with isolation, with self-talk that never seemed strong enough to quiet the noise. But the war raged on, mostly in silence, mostly unseen, mostly unnoticed by the people around you. They saw your smile, your strength, your composure, but they did not see the battlefield inside your heart. But I saw it, and I am stepping onto that battlefield now, not as a distant observer, but as a healer, a restorer, a peace bringer. This inner war didn't begin overnight. It was shaped by old wounds, by heavy seasons, by confusing moments that left emotional residue you never fully processed. It was fueled by lies you unknowingly adopted as truth, by fears that grew quietly, by expectations that weighed you down. It grew from battles you were never meant to fight alone. But hear me, you are not losing your mind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not destined to live with this internal conflict forever. I am bringing peace, real, deep, stabilizing peace, into the very places where the war felt strongest. I'm silencing the voice that constantly criticizes you. I'm quieting the fear that always imagines the worst. I'm calming the anxiety that spikes without warning. I'm dismantling the shame that resurfaces when you least expect it. I'm healing the memories that trigger the unrest. I'm restoring the identity that the war tried to distort. The war inside you is losing its power, not because you are fighting harder, but because I am stepping in. You will begin to notice a shift, thoughts becoming clearer, emotions settling, reactions softening, breathing deepening, decisions becoming easier. The chaos that once felt automatic will begin to lose its hold. Peace will become your new internal climate, not a momentary feeling, but a sustained reality. You are not meant to live torn in half. You are not meant to live in constant mental tension. You are not meant to live on emotional edge. I am removing the war, replacing it with balance, stability, clarity, and peace. This battle is ending, not because you failed, but because you finally let me step in where you've tried so hard to be strong alone. The war is ending. The peace is beginning. Listen to me now with the part of you that aches when you look back. I am redeeming the years you feel you lost. I know the silent grief you carry over time you can't get back. The seasons you feel were wasted. The opportunities that slip away. The relationships that drained you. The versions of yourself you can't return to. The years where pain overshadowed progress. You look at your timeline and feel behind, robbed, delayed, or damaged by experiences you never asked for. You wonder if you'd be further, stronger, happier, more successful, if only those years had gone differently. You mourn the mistakes you made, the people you trusted, the doors that closed, the detours you took. But hear me with clarity that breaks through regret. Nothing is truly lost in my hands. I'm the God who restores, rebuilds, revives, and reclaims. What you call lost time I call preparation. What you call wasted years I call soil for greater things. What you call too late I call perfect timing. I'm not finished with your story, not even the parts you think are over. I can accelerate what life slowed down. I can resurrect what seemed dead. I can rebuild what was broken. I can return what was stolen in better form than before. I can multiply what you thought you squandered. Your past does not limit your future. It sets the stage for redemption. Every tear watered a seed. Every setback shaped your character. Every heartbreak deepened your capacity to love. Every disappointment refined your wisdom. Every season of waiting strengthened your endurance. You have not been moving backward. You've been being prepared for a greater forward. And now, the years you mourn will become the years I redeem. You will see progress come faster than before. You will see opportunities align effortlessly. You will see healing settle deeply. You will see blessings unfold unexpectedly. You will see doors open that were once locked. You will feel hope rise where despair once lived. Nothing you've walked through was wasted. Not the pain, not the confusion, not the wandering. I am redeeming the years you lost by giving you a future so full that it outweighs every moment you grieved. You will look back not with regret, but with awe, because my restoration always surpasses your imagination. Listen closely with the part of you that feels fragile, the part that has quietly wondered if certain pieces of your heart will ever feel whole again. I'm strengthening what you thought was beyond repair. You've carried wounds that time alone couldn't mend, burdens that settled into your spirit like a weight you grew accustomed to carrying. There are moments in your past that left impressions so deep you believe they shaped you permanently. Maybe it was betrayal that fractured your trust. Maybe it was loss that hollowed out parts of you you've never fully refilled. Maybe it was a mistake that left a lingering sense of unworthiness. Maybe it was a season where life demanded more than you had to give. You've learned to function around these broken places, but deep down, there's a quiet ache, a sense that something important inside you never returned to its original strength. I have seen every crack in your spirit, every bruise on your confidence, every place where your courage faded. Nothing about your condition surprises me. Nothing you've struggled with disqualifies you. Nothing inside you is too shattered for me to restore. You often assume strength means you must hold everything together, but sometimes true strength emerges only after something has broken, and after I have stepped into the brokenness. What feels irreparable to you is not irreparable to me. I rebuild gently, deliberately, in ways you can't always see at first. Healing rarely begins with loud transformation. It begins with quiet mending in places you stopped paying attention to. There are areas of your heart you no longer expect to function properly. Your ability to hope, to trust, to believe, to feel joy without fear attached. You've accepted certain limitations because you've lived with them for so long they feel like part of your identity. But they are not. They are the result of storms you survived. And now, I'm restoring you in ways those storms could never undo. I am strengthening the very parts of you that once felt weak, not by making you hard or numb, but by making you whole. Strength without gentleness becomes armor. What I am giving you is endurance with softness, resilience with tenderness, the kind of strength that grows from healing, not from hiding. You will notice it gradually. The things that used to overwhelm you will no longer drown your thoughts. The fears that used to control your decisions will lose their influence. The old memories that used to sting will begin to lose their power. And slowly, you'll realize that what once felt broken beyond repair has become a place of unexpected strength. Your story will not be defined by the moment you were wounded. It will be shaped by the healing I am doing even now. Trust this process. You are being rebuilt in ways deeper, stronger, and more beautiful than you can currently see. Let me speak to the exhaustion beneath the surface, the tiredness that doesn't come from physical work but from the constant noise inside your mind and around your life. I'm clearing the noise so you can hear me again. I know how difficult it has been for you to find clarity. You've tried to pray, tried to think, tried to sort through your emotions, but everything inside you felt cluttered, tangled, restless. You've been carrying thoughts that compete for your attention, worries that crowd your mind, and pressures that keep your heart on edge. You didn't drift from me out of neglect. You simply became surrounded by too much noise to recognize my whisper. Life has been loud. Responsibilities have been loud. Your fears have been loud. Even your hopes, when they rise and fall, have created their own kind of noise. And when your inner world becomes this crowded, it's easy to assume I've stepped back. But I have been here the entire time, waiting for the moment when your heart would lean toward me again, even if only out of desperation for peace. Clarity doesn't come from forcing yourself to focus. It comes from letting me clear the internal clutter that's been overwhelming you. I'm quieting the unnecessary mental conversations that drain you. I'm softening the internal pressure that makes you feel rushed. I'm calming the emotional storms that rise without warning. Not through repetition, not through dramatic interventions, but through steady, quiet work in your spirit. My voice is not competing with the noise. It is lifting you above it. You will begin to feel it as a gentle stillness that settles over you, a clarity that doesn't require you to wrestle for understanding. Sometimes the first sign of my presence isn't a word. It's the peace that precedes it. As the noise clears, you will see things differently. You'll notice that decisions that once felt complicated begin to make sense. Worries that once consumed you begin to loosen their grip. Truth becomes easier to recognize, and lies become easier to reject. Your emotions, once tangled into knots, will begin to unravel into understanding. This is what it feels like when I quiet the noise. Your mind stops fighting itself, your heart stops racing, and your spirit settles back into alignment with me. You don't need to strain to hear my voice. Just let me create the quiet your soul hath been longing for. In that quiet, you will remember how near I've always been. Listen with the part of you that feels incomplete. I am giving you back the pieces you thought you lost. Life has taken things from you, or at least that's how it felt. There were moments when you walked away from a situation realizing something in you had changed. Something had dimmed. Something had slipped through your fingers without your permission. You lost trust in certain areas. You lost joy in others. You lost your sense of excitement. You lost the confidence you once had. You lost your ability to rest deeply, to love openly, to dream freely. And because these losses happened slowly, sometimes painfully, you learned to adapt. You tried to fill the empty places with strength, responsibility, or silence. But deep down, you missed the parts of yourself that once felt alive. I haven't forgotten those pieces. I know every part of you, the parts you show and the parts you hide, the parts that remain and the parts you believe are gone forever. Nothing that truly belonged to your identity has vanished. It may have been buried by heartbreak, muted by disappointment, or overshadowed by survival, but it was never lost to me. Now, I'm bringing those pieces back, not in the exact form you remember, but restored, refined, and ready to be woven into who you're becoming. Some of what you think you've lost hasn't disappeared. It's simply been dormant, waiting for the right moment to reawaken. Your tenderness will return, without the fear of being misused. Your joy will return, without the fragility that once accompanied it. Your confidence will rise again, this time grounded, not shaken by external opinions. Your sense of purpose will emerge, steady, clear, and aligned. Even your hope will grow back, stronger than it was before it broke. And yes, there are pieces you willingly let go because they were shaped by old versions of you. Versions built from survival, not identity. Those pieces don't need to come back. But the ones that mattered, the ones that formed the truest version of you, the ones that made you vibrant, connected, hopeful, courageous, those are the pieces I am restoring. I am placing them back in your hands little by little, moment by moment, through healing, through clarity, through unexpected encounters, through new perspectives. You will start to recognize yourself again, not the broken version, not the tired version, but the whole version. The one you were designed to be. The one you thought you lost. The one I never let go of. Listen to me with the part of you that has been underestimating your own endurance. I am revealing the strength you didn't know you had. You've walked through seasons that demanded more than you felt capable of giving. You've stood in moments where your heart trembled under the weight of circumstances you never asked for. You survived days when you didn't know how you would make it to the next, and yet you did. You've endured heartbreaks that could have hardened you, but instead, they deepened you. You've carried responsibilities that stretch you to your emotional edges. And even now, there are parts of you that look back and wonder how you managed to stay together. But you need to understand something. Every time you thought you were breaking, something inside you was actually being strengthened. You didn't recognize it because strength developed in silence doesn't always announce itself. It emerges slowly, reshaping who you are from the inside out. There is a resilience woven into your spirit that you've overlooked because you learned to see your survival as normal, rather than extraordinary. But not everyone could have endured what you endured and stayed tender. Not everyone could have walked through what you walked through and kept their heart open. Not everyone could have wrestled with the thoughts you battled and still chosen to get up again. Strength isn't measured by how loud someone appears. It's revealed in the quiet decisions no one sees. And you, without realizing it, have made choices that reveal a depth of strength you rarely give yourself credit for. But I am not simply pointing out what already exists. I'm revealing the strength that has yet to surface. The strength that has been forming beneath the layers of your struggles. It will surprise you. You will handle things in the coming days with a calmness you didn't know you could possess. Challenges that once overwhelmed you will unfold differently because your perspective is changing. Fear will lose influence as clarity grows inside you. You will react to difficulty with a steadiness that will feel new, almost unfamiliar, as if you suddenly discovered a hidden chamber inside yourself that has been waiting for this moment to open. That strength is real, and it is mine growing in you. You've asked me to make you stronger, but what I'm actually doing is showing you the strength that has been developing all along. You don't need to strive for it. You don't need to manufacture courage. It's already rising. Every part of your journey, especially the parts that hurt, has quietly shaped you. This strength will not make you hard. It will make you whole. It will not make you distant. It will make you anchored. You are more capable, more resilient, more grounded than you think. And I am revealing that truth to you now so you can finally step into everything your spirit has been prepared for. Hear me with the part of you that has grown cautious, the part that once dreamed boldly but now approaches the future with hesitation. I am restoring your sense of wonder about what lies ahead. Somewhere along the way, hope became something you protected rather than embraced. Too many disappointments made you careful. Too many unanswered questions made you wary. You've learned to expect just enough to keep moving, but not enough to feel excited. You've convinced yourself that neutrality is safer than expectation, because expectation has hurt you before. But I didn't design your spirit to live in a state of emotional caution. I created it with a capacity for anticipation, curiosity, and awe, qualities that once came naturally to you before life taught you to brace for impact more than you welcome possibility. Your future is not something to fear. It is not a threat waiting to surprise you. It is a landscape I have already walked through, shaping it in ways you cannot yet see. But because weariness has clouded your vision, you've been judging the future through the lens of your past. Pain tends to shrink imagination. Disappointment dims expectation. But I am lifting that heaviness, clearing the fog, and awakening the part of you that used to look ahead with eagerness. This awakening is gentle. It won't rush you, but it will begin shifting something inside you. You will notice yourself wondering again about what could be. You will feel small sparks of desire rising in areas that once felt numb. You'll catch a glimpse of possibilities without immediately shutting them down. This renewed wonder isn't rooted in fantasy, it's rooted in trust. Trust that I have plans for you that extend far beyond what you've known. Trust that nothing you lost diminish what is still waiting. Trust that your story is expanding, not closing. When you begin to imagine again, when you allow yourself to picture a future filled with purpose, connection, joy, and growth, that's not foolishness. That's alignment with what I've been preparing for you. I am restoring the ability to dream without dread. I am giving you permission to anticipate good things instead of bracing for pain. I am reminding you that not every chapter repeats the last one. Some chapters finally heal what others wounded. This is one of those seasons. Wonder will return, not as an escape from reality, but as a reflection of the reality I'm leading you into. And as your heart opens again to possibilities, you will feel a sense of aliveness you thought was gone for good. Let me speak to the deepest layers of who you are. I am calling you to step out of the version of yourself that was built by survival. You learn to adapt. You learn to endure. You learn to manage pain, navigate uncertainty, and keep functioning